Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Maybe put out an email. Send it to Jenny Craig.
Send it to Jenny Craig? Is that what
I
you
don't
said?
know. I didn't say that. I said Jenny Craig.
If you're a weight loss program app that starts with the letter N and you want to sponsor Bitter Chatter,
Oh,
hit us up.
Netflix.
Yes! Hit us up at bitterchatterpodcast@gmail.com.
Instead of like are you still watching this thing? It comes up with like, are you still fat? Yes. No more House of Cards for you.
I'm watching fucking Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, there goes our Netflix sponsorship.
Oh, well, it's fine. I feel like they're doing alright. I don't think they need any more exposure.
I don't know, man. A platform like ours could really help the little guys out.
A little platform like ours is gonna really help out.
We can't.
Okay, alright, hey, shut up. Movies.
Okay, yeah, we're in the episode now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bitter Chatter. And as he just alluded to, first of all, he's bitter, I'm chatter. We are starting our second tournament today, and this time we're covering movies that do not include Marvel or Disney, which I guess is also...
No, there has to be like a category that we can define this as, because it's like, it's the movie tournament, except for these specific movies, kind of those. What is another name for films? Motion pictures.
Well, if you ask people like Martin Scorsese, Marvel movies are not films. So this can be...
I would think that Disney might have something to say about that. No, wait, okay, no, Disney movies we're excluding, and Marvel movies are a part of Disney, so this is just the
non-Disney tournament.
We should have had one bracket of, like, this 32, and then the other 32 just be, like, superhero and Disney movies.
I mean, that will be... Well, honestly, with the way superhero movies are, we could literally fill up a 32-movie bracket with just
Okay, you know what, we'll do this one, we'll do the superheroes one, we'll do the Disney one, and then afterward we'll all come together and we'll think about, which of the three that we've decided is just the best movie of all time.
I think, I like this idea, because what we can do is this one now, we can do the superhero movie tournament, and then I don't think Disney movies will fill up a 32 bracket.
Oh, they absolutely will, I think, if you include, like, Pixar and everything.
Oh, true, yeah, you're right. And then, yeah, at the end of the Disney one, we can be like, so, out of the three. Yeah, I like that idea. But here we are.
Here's part one of...
of a trilogy of movie tournaments.
Of the movie trilogy, yes, alright, the movie trilogy tournament, episode 1. The
film menace.
The film... the motion picture menace, yeah. Alright.
We'll space them out.
This does continue, like, contain animated movies.
Yes,
it's just not
Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why we made that distinction.
Yeah, well, because Disney has so many things. Like we didn't include a lot of other animated movies. Like I don't. Shrek's not in this. I don't think, right?
Wait, is Shrek not in this? Oh yeah,
It's
no,
too
it is.
late now.
Shrek
It
is
is
in this.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So there's a couple DreamWorks movies, but that's about it.
Might be a Blue Sky in there somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, but just to clarify before we scare people away, we're not doing all three tournaments back to back.
No, God, no. We're doing this one. It's only 32. It's going to be half of the length of the fucking TV tournament. So keep your butts in your seats. It'll be okay.
We're going to have a good time. We're going to have fun.
I'm telling you now, it's going to be a fun time, alright? So shut up and tell me what you think about this first bracket.
Yes, so let's get started, shall we?
We are starting things off with a controversial pick.
Oh, are we?
The Road to El Dorado.
I love this fucking movie.
Honestly, I think it's one of the first movies that me and Ellie watched together as a couple.
That's awesome.
So we, you know that little, beware the wrath of the gods, be gone, the little hand motion that he does?
Yes.
We do that to each other, and we have done since we saw it, so...
Fucking adorable.
Yeah, it's going up against Lord of the Rings.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
God damn it. I love that movie so much, and we're gonna have to kick it out in the first round!
I'm like just sad. I'm not even disappointed. I'm not angry. I'm just sorrowful. Like,
Oh, man, I like Road to El Dorado so much, and we have to kick it out immediately because Lord of the Rings is just fucking Lord of the Rings.
I mean, to be fair, the fact that it's even included in this tournament is in itself an accomplishment. Like, think of how many movies there are in general, right?
Yeah.
The fact that we highlight this one out specifically is it's really something.
I think it's obvious what we're going to pick here, but before we say goodbye to Miguel and Tulio, let's just sing the praises of that movie for a quick second.
Oh, literally, it's tough to be a god.
It really is. Like, if you haven't seen it, which might be the case for some people listening, because as much as we love it, it's not at Disney levels of fame. People either know it and love it, or they maybe really haven't heard of it. But let's give some backstory. This is something we didn't really do in the TV tournament, is that we didn't really list off like who was in it and who made it, etc. So okay,
going off of Rotten Tomatoes, this is going to be our benchmark for what people think about these movies. Road to El Dorado, 2000 it came out.
Oh wow, right on the money.
That's 21 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
An hour and a half long, not that long. 66% from the audience and 48% on the tadometer.
What?
I don't know. Apparently the critics' consensus says the predictable story and thin characters made the movie flat.
What?
It's a 2D movie. It's gonna be flat, you dumb idiots.
Such a dumb joke. I love it.
I wholeheartedly disagree. Like Miguel and Tulio and Miguel, mighty and powerful gods.
They're so thin characters.
The main characters of this movie are Miguel and Tulio, Spanish. What would you call them?
Con men.
Yeah, con men. They essentially get accidentally put on a boat going to the New World, led by Cortez the Conqueror, whatever his name was.
Yeah, I think it is Cortez.
Cortez the Conqueror, yeah. Who's oddly enough voiced by Jim Cummings, which is
that guy's everywhere.
Yeah, it's a bit of a departure from his normal roles.
He was like 3 different Native Americans in Pocahontas.
Yeah, literally. So they get put on a boat, and then they get off the boat with a horse.
Yes.
What was his name? Altivo the horse. Yeah,
I honestly didn't remember the name of the horse, but
he's Cortez's horse. Basically, they get off the ship in the night, and then they get washed up, and they have with them, supposedly, a map to El Dorado, the city of gold of legend.
Yes, so the movie starts in Spain, where they're trying to, con people out of their money playing dice with loaded dice, and He
gave me loaded dice! It's so quotable as well, the whole movie, but...
it really is. And...
but yeah, they have the map, they go to El Dorado, they're treated as gods because they stopped a volcano from erupting.
They
somehow.
seemed to, yeah.
They seemed to. It's never quite explained what happened there.
They made it start erupting.
No, they made it stop.
Each other.
They started it, and then they stopped it when Tulio yelled, "Stop!"
Yes.
So then, yeah, they treat them as gods, and they're like, "Oh, they think we're gods." Oh, ha, ha, and hijinks ensue, and it's a fun family movie.
It's fucking great, and
it's really funny. It's very quotable.
The music is fantastic.
The music made by I'm pretty sure Elton John was in this booth for a lot of these songs.
Oh, maybe.
So yeah, no, it's good. It's really good, but it's not Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, and
the behemoth of cinema, one of the only high fantasy, like just fantasy movies in general, to win Best Picture at the Oscars.
Yeah.
With Return
also,
of the King.
For everyone who remembers our pre-tournament episode, we're specifically talking about Fellowship of the Ring.
Yes. Let me get the tomato for that.
It's not fair. It's going to take something really heavy to knock Lord of the Rings out of this tournament, because it's a lot of the big franchises in cinema. There's usually something you can point to and be like, that, yeah, it's great, but that part, like Star Wars, we could do that 17 times. But Lord of the Rings, and
you
I
can't
know
really
we're talking
do that,
about,
can you?
I know we're just talking about one of the movies, but the whole thing is really like, unless you start including the Hobbit trilogy, which I haven't seen, but I know some people don't like just the Lord of the Rings trilogy, fucking pretty damn near perfect.
Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, 2001.
Yeah. So they're
2
actually
hours
around
and
the same
58
time.
minutes long.
Yeah, especially
3
when we start
hours.
getting into those director cut versions.
Yeah, 91% from the tomato
Tomedum Ratum.
How do you say it? The tomato meter? Tomato meter, yeah. 91% on the tomato meter and 95% from the audience. Everyone fucking loves Lord of the Rings. I think this is, I haven't seen Return of the King, we've gone over this. Out of this and the Two Towers, I think this one is probably the best. So, yeah, it's, everyone knows the story. Like, Frodo's a hobbit, they have the evil ring, they have to go and destroy the ring, and it takes them 3 movies, and Gandalf said, "You shall not pass."
Oh, Mr. Frodo.
Oh yeah, that was his thing, wasn't it? He has a friend named Samwise Gamgee.
Samwise, one of the best supporting characters in movie history.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard, God.
We're not even touching the amount of memes that came out of this trilogy.
Was that from this movie, or was that from Two Towers?
Taking the hobbits to Isengard. I think that might have been...
When did they take the hobbits to Isengard?
I don't remember where Isengard is. It's one of those fantasy names that I'm like, which one was that?
It's been a while since I've actually watched these movies. We're talking years at this point, so...
If it's the scene I'm thinking of, it might even be Return of the King.
No, I don't think it is, because I remember watching this scene play out, and I was like, oh, he said it.
Then it's probably Two Towers.
Okay. But anyway, Fellowship of the Ring, I think, is very, very well paced, which is something that is really hard to do when your movie is 3 fucking hours long.
Yeah, and the fact that they adapted a movie out of a book that, if you've seen it, you could kill a man with that book.
It's like a Yellow Pages.
It's so massive because Tolkien had this infamous need to describe every little thing in excruciating detail. There's the famous example of, like, he takes 2 or 3 pages talking about a door. Like, it's too much. And the fact that they made such a great adaptation of that fucking ginormous word salad. It's such an accomplishing movie. Like, it's unfair to even fathom the possibility of Road to El Dorado beating Lord of the Rings, but it's just such a sad thing because I love Road to El Dorado.
Yeah, even I would probably have voted for Road to El Dorado just because of the nostalgia. I've loved it since I was a kid, and it has a special connection with me and my partner, but I'm not that, like, insulated. It's Lord of the Rings. Like, yeah. Come on.
Sorry, DreamWorks. This is one of your best movies, but it's just not Lord of the Rings.
Oh, we should also look at the budget of these movies and what they made at the box office, because I think that's another interesting thing about movies.
Well, after seeing the tomato meter score on Road to El Dorado, I'm not optimistic about their box office numbers.
Well, I think it wasn't really made a big deal out of it when it came out, but then, like, years later it becomes what they call a cult classic.
Sort of an Iron Giant situation.
Yeah, so the budget for that was $95 million, and it made back $76.4 million, so that's a travesty.
That's so unfortunate.
The budget for Fellowship of the Ring was $93 million.
Less than Road to El Dorado?
It made back nearly $900 million.
Oh, wow.
It was the second highest grossing film of 2001 and the 5th highest grossing movie of all time when it came out.
Second highest of that year? What was the highest?
Oh, surprising. Harry Potter and Philosopher's Sorcerer Sorcerer's Stone.
Oh, that makes sense. Because as much as Lord of the Rings is
$900 million.
As much as Lord of the Rings is a beloved series, I don't think it's as beloved as Harry Potter.
2001 was a good year for movies. You had Harry Potter, you had Lord of the Rings, Monsters Inc., Shrek, Ocean's 11.
I can't believe Monsters Inc. and Lord of the Rings is in the same year.
Okay, I lie, the top 4 are the best ones.
Everything else is fucking...
I mean, what? Ocean's 11, Pearl Harbor, The Mummy Returns, Jurassic Park 3, Planet of the Apes, Hannibal? Like, what is this? What is this motley crew of movies? You start
losing me with Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, so long story short, we're going with Fellowship here.
Apologies, El Dorado, but it just has to be. It just has to be this way.
I can't believe we have to kick it out in the first round because
The fact that it made it to the first round is good.
A little behind the scenes, we were setting up what movies were going to possibly be in this, and at the last second, I was like, "Oh my god, we have to put Road to El Dorado in. How did we forget?" And I can't believe we have to kick it out so fast.
Oh well, c'est la vie. Yeah,
So
nothing
what do we
else to
have
say
next?
really. Okay, this is another big movie we got here.
Mm-hmm.
Jurassic Park,
The original.
the original,
All right, very good movie.
against National Treasure.
Oh wow. Okay, this is a more interesting matchup.
Let's get the stats up.
Because with Jurassic Park, you do have like an undeniable classic. And we're not going to talk about the Simpsons effect because we're just talking about this one movie.
Wait, the Simpsons effect?
Well, what I feel, and it's not as dramatic for the Jurassic Park series, but there is a drop off.
Oh yeah, and then is Jurassic World is like the same franchise, isn't it?
Yeah, you could consider it linked. But again, we're doing one movie here, so we don't even have to consider that. Jurassic Park is a good movie, a very good movie. And
I hadn't even seen it until recently. I
Really?
mean, recently we're talking about like Christmas Day 2018, like one of those years.
Wow.
Like, just cause I know it's not something that I had experienced for a very long time, which is quite odd. But I did, and I was like, yeah, you know what? It's good. It lives up to the hype.
Yeah, it's really great. I remember the first time I saw it was because I think my dad was showing it to me because he said, I need you to look at this movie and just realize that when this came out, it was the most impressive thing anyone had ever seen, and it still looks good. And you know what? He was right. It does still look good. Those dinosaurs still look good.
You know, they had real dinosaurs for that.
Yeah, they brought him in from that Madagascar.
It was their first major role in any film, so they were understandably quite nervous.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at the tomato meter. It says
You say
Nine-
tomato meter, I say tomato meter.
tomato monitor. It says 92%, 91% from the audience.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, that sounds about right. I don't think there's
Juggernaut.
many people that don't think Jurassic Park. That was a lot of negatives. I don't think there are many people that would say Jurassic Park is anything less than a really good movie.
The budget was 63 million, and it made back 1 billion.
Holy shit!
Until Avatar, I think this was like the highest grossing movie of all time.
Maybe. I think you're right.
There
But,
was
dude,
one point where it was the highest grossing movie ever.
I sometimes I forget how expensive animated movies are because the idea that Road to El Dorado was that much more, like $30 million more expensive than Jurassic Park with giant fucking practical effect dinosaurs.
Oh no, okay,
Holy
it was
shit.
Titanic. It was Titanic that came out and dethroned it as the number one.
Obviously,
But
fucking
yeah,
obviously.
so Jurassic Park came out in 1993, directed by Steven Spielberg. Let's compare it to National Treasure.
Okay, so let's talk about National Treasure for a second. You're gonna have a lot more affection to this movie than I. Not that I don't like it. I do like it.
It's my boy. It's my boy. It's the rage of the cage himself, Nicolas Cage.
I don't think we've talked on this podcast yet about how much you love Nick Cage.
He's unironically my favorite actor.
I mean, he's fucking great, and he
I will
himself,
vouch for him unironically. I know he's a meme. I know it's like, oh, the bees. Oh, he's broken. He does all these bad movies. But when he's good, he's really fucking good. And even when he's bad, he's like super fun to like laugh at. So it's a
Right.
win-win.
When he's in a bad movie, it's the Room effect, which is great. And then when he's given a good script, he's genuinely really good.
He's won an Oscar. Like he won it for Leaving Las Vegas, I believe. So
Yeah.
you got that. National Treasure, 2004, 2 hours and 10 minutes long. Jurassic Park, 1993, 2 hours and 6 minutes, so about the same length of time there. National Treasure has 46% on the tomato meter and 76% on the audience score, so critics didn't like it, audiences did.
Interesting. I wonder what that's
The main concept behind this movie is Nicolas Cage has to steal the Declaration of Independence.
about. Why, though?
No, okay, so he plays a historian. I think his name is Benjamin Gates or something like that.
It sounds
Yeah,
right.
Benjamin Franklin Gates. You know, Ben Franklin. He's a historian and an amateur cryptologist searching for a huge lost treasure of precious metals, jewelry, artwork, statues, and many other historic artifacts accumulated over time, becoming a massive stockpile. The National Treasure.
Yes.
All of it was eventually hidden away by the American Freemasons during the American Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
A coded, unseen map printed on the back of the Declaration of Independence points to the secret location of the National Treasure, but Gates is not alone. He also has Diane Keaton and the guy from The Hangover.
Which guy from The Hangover? Wait, what?
Doug, the guy who got lost. What was his name?
Oh, wow. Yeah, he is in that movie. I forgot about that.
Justin Barfer. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a family-friendly Da Vinci Code adventure
Yeah, it's made by Disney. It's got Sean Bean as the antagonist, and I'm pretty sure this is one of the only movies where he doesn't die.
movie.
Let me double check that, because I'm pretty sure he doesn't die.
I would actually be surprised. If he's the villain, I actually would be surprised if he doesn't, because there's always some sort of like, oh, I got turned to stone or some bullshit, right? You know what I mean?
Nah, there's nothing like there's nothing supernatural. It's actually kind of grounded in reality almost. Like it's kind of a little bit like Indiana Jones in a little bit of a way.
Well, even
But,
Indiana Jones, I think, had more supernatural.
Even
stuff
that
like
has
the
a
arc.
fucking coffin that melts people's faces off,
Yeah.
but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, no, I think this is good. I think the second one is also decent. Probably not an opinion shared by most others, but
I don't remember much about the second one.
I'm gonna have to concede here. I think it is Jurassic Park. Like again,
I mean-
it's the fact that it's so historically important and it's so highly revered that I'm not that ignorant of that whole thing. So
True.
as much as I love National Treasure, as much as I love Nick Cage doing Nick Cage things, I can't get Jurassic Park out based off that alone.
Yeah, the thing that does it for me is that I've seen them, I think, the same number of times, like once or twice. Like I haven't watched Jurassic Park that much, but I remember more specific details about Jurassic Park than I do about National Treasure. And I think that like memorability plays into it a good amount. And there's just so many things about Jurassic Park that, like, even aside from like the wonder element, right? It's just a good movie. Plus, I'm a sucker for Wayne Knight, so
Oh yeah, he is in there. He gets eaten, doesn't he?
he gets he gets confronted by one of those tiny dinosaurs that spits acid or some shit.
Yeah. Is this the one where it's like clever girl?
Yes, a raptor is the culprit of that scene.
Yeah. Isn't Sam Jackson in this as well?
Yes, he plays one of the computer guys.
Yeah, it's weird. Like he's just in this. Like
Yeah.
I feel like not many people talk about that.
I always remember Wayne Knight stealing the dinosaur DNA in the Barbasol can. The scene when they're hiding in that like lab room and the raptors start opening the doors. The T-Rex water glass scene, obviously. There's just a lot of cool shit. So yeah, I think we have to kind of go with Jurassic Park, but National Treasure, good movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I might rewatch it at some point. We should have like, if we can do this, we should just watch a load of Nick Cage movies together.
That'd be awesome, honestly.
Because I don't know what your opinions of him as an actor are, like, truthfully.
I think he's great. I think when it's kind of like what you said. The only time I've seen a Nick Cage movie that I didn't like was because it was just like so.
It was
nothing.
The Weatherman, yes.
It's The Weatherman. Most of the time, even when he's got a bad script, he's fun to watch, like you said.
I mean,
And
we're
when
talking like Bangkok Dangerous, Next, Knowing, all those really like schlocky movies.
The
Drive
Wicker
Angry
Man.
is probably my most favorite bad one.
yeah, The Wicker Man, shit like that.
Yeah. What's in my bag? A shark or something?
Then you have shit like Face Off, which I don't know how you categorize that as a film, good or bad, but it's fun to
It's
watch.
It's good. From every conceivable standpoint, I unironically think it's good.
All right, fair enough.
Fun fact, that's also in the it's in the same cinematic universe as Jurassic Park.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, because the company that makes the dinosaurs, I think their name is like Index or something like InGen. That's
InGen,
it.
yes.
Yeah, their logo is on one of the oil crates in the oil rig prison.
It's fucking hilarious.
But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that, because I think Face Off has to be in this tournament somewhere.
Is it? Oh, it's probably, yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah, so we're going to go with Jurassic Park.
That is indeed Waterfalls. Waterfalls.
Yeah.
Okay, so next round. This could be interesting depending on how we want to go. We have The Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead
Okay.
Man's Chest.
Okay.
Another franchise. Going
Yes.
up against Parasite,
Oh,
the 2019 South Korean movie.
yeah, Best Picture winner.
So, let's break down the facts first of all. We got to get this out of the way first. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, 53% on the tomato meter, 72% on the audience score. I don't know why the critics rate it so low. It's really fucking good. We all know
Yeah.
the story. Captain Jack and pirates and doing shit and Davy Jones and the Dead Man's Chest. I've got a
Yeah.
jar of dirt. All of that stuff.
You get a lot of like interesting lore out of the movie that's not like spoon fed to you. It's really, I really, really like that movie.
It is good. 225 million budget, 1 billion box office.
Nice.
Nothing to be flinched at, but yes.
Pretty expensive movie.
Oh yeah, that's because you got all the high paid actors. You got Johnny Depp, Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley, Bill Nighy, like everyone else. Basically, it's a very ensemble cast. This whole
and a lot
franchise
of
really,
really good effects.
and it's made by Disney, so they have the money to spend.
True.
Going up against what some might call an underdog in Parasite.
Maybe.
Now, I would not be shocked if people don't know what this movie is, but don't worry. We'll hold your hand. We'll guide you through this.
Yes.
Parasite. 2019 is classed as a comedy mystery thriller.
I can see the comedy elements. I actually remember watching this movie with Yessie, and we were kind of surprised by how the first half of the movie, because we got the impression this was strictly a horror film or a thriller, whatever you want to classify that part as. So when we were watching it and we're getting through like the first half of the movie and we're just laughing at it a lot and we're not scared at all, I was like, this is not what I expected this movie to be. But then the second half, you really start to get the like tension. And it's a solid fucking movie all around. Basic premise is that there's this lower class family in Korea that is struggling in a lot of ways. One of them's going to, what is it? Like one of the kids is going to go to college or something, right?
Yeah, one of the kids is going to go to university, and then his friend, who's played by Park Se-roy from Itaewon Class.
Oh my god, yes, that is him. Holy shit.
That is him. Yeah. It's basically like, yo, I have this girl who I'm like gonna romance and everything. Can you like basically look after her while I'm gone to university? And he goes to the rich family's house who this girl is a part of as a English tutor.
Yes.
So he gets that position, and they're paying him money, and he's like, ooh, maybe the rest of my family can get in on this. So the rest of the family, they pretend like they don't know each other, but they slowly ingratiate themselves into the household. The dad becomes the chauffeur.
Mm-hmm.
The daughter of the family becomes the rich kid's art tutor, psychologist type of thing.
Yeah.
And then what does the mother do?
I think she's either the cook or like
She's like the housemaid, because
housekeeper?
they plan to oust the current housekeeper who's been in that house for generations.
That's the whole thing. All of these positions were already filled, and they have to not only get themselves in, but kick the current person out.
And they all
So-
manage to do it, and it's like a parasite. It ingratiates itself into the household, and there's a twist. There's a really
Yes.
big oof moment, and we're not going to tell you it. You should go and watch it. But Parasite, 98% on the tomato meter,
That does not surprise me at all.
with a 90% audience score.
Yeah.
Looking at the box office, equating $1 to $, you have a budget of $15 million.
That's not a lot.
And then it comes back with $258 million of a box office.
That is a lot.
So it was very big. It won the best picture. The director, Bong Joon-ho, is he's like an auteur. Is that the term? An auteur? Yeah.
Auteur?
Auteur, yes. Where he has a very distinct filmography with techniques that he's carried throughout it all.
Yeah.
I saw this recently. I thought, wow, yeah, worth it. Worth the hype.
Yeah, fucking great movie.
So it's a very new thing. But how does it go against Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest?
That's tough because there's a lot. It's a kind of apples and oranges comparison there because they're so fucking
Because
different.
Parasite is like a it's a film that you can maybe watch a couple of times. It's not something that you can really have a repeat viewing of because it relies on the predicate that you don't really know what the twist is of the movie.
Yeah,
And
that
so like
plays
when
a
you
lot
watch
into
it again, plus it doesn't exactly have a happy ending, so it kind of makes you feel just sad, I think, or at least that was what my experience was. I don't know about you.
It's definitely like, I don't even know if I could call it bittersweet. It's like,
It's a melancholy sort of ending because
yeah.
a lot of things happen, and Dead Man's Chest. It just sets up the next movie, and then you have, as we've mentioned, the ending where Barbossa comes back from the dead.
Yeah, and I keep reiterating that we're just looking at this one movie, but the fact that this is the middle of a trilogy, I don't know how that really plays into it, you know what I mean? Because
But I'm thinking about all of the cool things with the Kraken and Davy Jones and Captain Jack being Captain Jack, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to pick this.
I think, you know, I said it in the preamble episode, but the ending of Dead Man's Chest is maybe one of my favorite movie endings ever, just by pure hype, like for nothing else.
Yeah.
And so that's affecting me a lot here, and I think also Davy Jones is so fucking cool as a character. Bill Nighy's so great in that role. It's so hard to pick this. Doesn't this movie also introduce Bennett?
Remind me who Bennett is.
What is it? What's the name of the trading
Oh, do you mean
company?
Beckett?
Beckett. Oh, I thought it was Bennett.
Lord Cutler Beckett, the little asshole who.
Yes.
I don't know what his role is, but he's one of the main antagonists of the movie, and he's played very well. I don't know who plays him actually. Let me find that
Yeah, I
out.
don't actually know who that actor is.
Cutler Beckett is played by Tom Hollander. That's it.
I thought you were just gonna say Tom Holland. I'm like, that can't
Tom
be
Holland. Oh, yes.
right. But yeah, an amazing villain, so fucking hateable.
Yeah.
Plus, this is still in the movies where Elizabeth and Will are in it, and they're great characters. Yeah, that's so tough because Parasite is such a strong movie the first time. And I haven't rewatched it. I imagine there's still a lot of good stuff to it on a rewatch, like knowing where it's going to go and maybe seeing if you can see the hints leading to that. But is it... I mean, the rewatchability of Dead Man's Chest is really strong.
You know what? I'm going to be bold. I'm going to pick Parasite.
Yeah? What's making you do that?
I just think as a film, it's revered for a reason, you know. It has the social commentary. It's world cinema, which puts it in a category of its own. The fact that it's done so well to win Best Fucking Picture when it would normally just be shoehorned into like the Best Foreign Film category is mind blowing.
Yeah, I think what just swayed
I think
me
it does
here,
a lot more for the industry than Dead Man's Chest did, which is unfortunate.
I think what just swayed me here is the fact that Dead Man's Chest is very much a fun adventure movie, but there really is nothing else quite like Parasite.
Yeah, it's so unique and fresh in a way, because like adventure movies, if you've seen one, you've pretty much seen all of them.
Yeah, you once you get the setup of Dead Man's Chest, you can kind of figure out where this is going to go. Other than the literal last few seconds of the movie, there's not really a twist.
Plus, if you've seen one Pirates movie, then you've seen all of them. They are just by a number, like a lot of the same stuff. So
yeah, there's a vibe to the Pirates movies that are.
Like, it's not a bad thing. It's just compared to something like Parasite, I feel like Parasite wins out in a contest against the two.
Yeah, I think when you just take the one movie, Dead Man's Chest, and you make it go one-on-one with Parasite, I think you're right. I think Parasite's the better movie here.
Alright, fair enough. Parasite advances. Goodbye to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
I love that franchise. I don't even think the bad movies are that bad.
Yeah, I've still not seen the fifth one. It is on my to-do list, though, so we're going to get there one day.
Yeah.
You vamp while I get the details for the next movie.
So speaking of vamps, vampires.
Do we have any vampire movies?
we went for the same place there.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we do any vampire movies, but I think...
You ever see Interview with a Vampire?
No, what is that?
It's Tom Cruise being Dracula.
That sounds fucking great.
It's Tom Cruise as Dracula, Brad Pitt as the other one.
Nosferatu?
No, the guy, Lestat. That's it, Lestat, yeah.
The Stat? What?
Lestat, the French one.
Oh.
Do you know anything about Dracula?
I mean, as a concept, yeah.
He's a vampire, he sucks on the neck.
He's the king of the vampires, and he wears a big cape and go blah.
He turned the lights on and off at the Krusty Krab.
And then Adam Sandler made him goofy.
Oh yeah, Hotel Transylvania.
I only ever saw, I think, the third one.
I've seen the first one. It's alright. It's just a standard animated movie.
Looks alright.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, we have The School of Rock.
Okay, before you say the next movie, when I disappeared in our preamble episode, one of the next movies I was going to nominate for elimination was going to be School of Rock. So that tells you right now where I stand. I don't think it's bad. I do like it. But when I was looking at everything else in the list, that one stands out to me as not as good. So already, it's going to be a hard sell for me to vote School of Rock in this matchup, whatever it is.
Buddy. Alright, well, The School of Rock. 2003.
Jack Black.
Jack Black. 92% tomato meter, 64% audience score. That's crazy to me. I feel like the audience would love it a lot more.
Do you mean to tell me that critics thought School of Rock was a A- movie, and yet The Road to El Dorado got a 48%?
I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
Holy shit. What year did you say this movie was?
2003.
2 years apart. Holy shit. Is Jack Black that powerful?
In this movie, I think he is. I think it's one of his best roles.
Is this the greatest power in the universe?
Jablinski? School of Rock versus Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, come on. It's not even close.
80% from a tomato meter, 92% on the audience score, 1986.
Especially because we're comparing comedies here, it's so clear to me we have to go with Ferris Bueller. Ferris Bueller is such a fucking good movie. The bit that always kills me is when, I think, first of all, the friend Cameron is like one of the strongest parts of this movie. He's so fucking funny.
Let's go over the plots of these movies, shall we?
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Let's do that first.
So, School of Rock is about Dewey Finn, portrayed by Jack Black, who is a down-on-his-luck musician. He's not very well revered by his peers. He gets kicked out of his band. He lives rent-free, doesn't have a job, with his friend who used to be a rock star and his annoying girlfriend, played by Sarah Silverman.
Yes.
He finesses his way into becoming a substitute teacher, pretending to be his roommate, who is an actual teacher.
Yes.
And he realizes that his students of this class that he's pretending to teach, and he doesn't know how to fucking teach, are really good at playing classical instruments. And so, he creates a band out of them, and they are called the School of Rock. And their goal is to compete in the upcoming Battle of the Bands, and it's really good. I think it's a really fucking solid comedy movie. Perfectly, like, early 2000s humor. Really interesting way that it handles some characters in it.
Mm-hmm.
With, like, stereotypes and teaching lessons to kids about, like, stuff, and the way that it ends as well. It provides a really interesting message to the audience, because it's been a while. It's 2003, it's School of Rock. We're not going to be too heavy on the plot here. They don't win the Battle of the Bands. They lose to Jack Black's former band that he was in.
That's right.
So, they don't win, but that's okay. Because everybody loved them, and they chanted for him, they wanted an encore, and they gave it to him, and they all had success. Happy ending for everybody. Shows that you don't always have to win things. Compare that to Ferris Bueller. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It is about Matthew Broderick skipping a day of school.
That's literally it. And it's so much fun.
Yeah. Some of the hijinks he gets into. He steals his best friend's dad's really expensive Ferrari car. Takes him to the Museum of Art. baseball game, all the while being chased down by the principal of the school.
Yes. It's a fun cat and mouse. I mean, I think this movie kind of created a subgenre, like the day off comedy. Like
yeah,
this is a thing now, partly because of this movie. I always forget what's the name of this director. He did Breakfast Club.
John Hughes.
Yes, Hughes. If you have seen any of his movies, you know the vibe that this movie's gonna bring, and it's great. It's fucking immaculate.
Well, compare that to the director of School of Rock, Richard Linklater.
That name is not as familiar to me.
He's done his movies mainly focus on he's done the Before trilogy. You know the Before trilogy?
Remind me?
Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, Before Midnight?
No, actually, I don't think I've seen those.
Okay, it's a trilogy of romance movies from I think the middle of the 90s, and it ended in like the 2010s. It's got Ethan Hawke and it's, I think minimalism is the best way to describe his movies. But if you haven't seen them and you don't even know what they are, there's no point in explaining.
I mean,
he's
sure.
also done Dazed and Confused. You know that movie?
I know of it.
It's like he's done a lot of coming of age. Most recently, he did Boyhood, which is the famous one because it was filmed as the actors aged. So
yes, they
started filming it in like the early 2000s, and then it ended in 2013 or something like that. So
describing his style as coming of age makes a lot of sense with School of Rock.
Yeah. So he's done a lot of his own unique stuff. We're gonna be real. It doesn't compare to John Hughes. Like his filmography is fucking insane because it's like you said, Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, National Lampoon, 16 Candles, Weird Science, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Baby's Day Out, Home Alone.
That's right, he did Home Alone.
Like there's nothing that you can say that will convince me that Richard Linklater is better than John Hughes when it comes to directing movies.
Sure, and we're not comparing directors here, but it plays a factor.
I think that School of Rock, whilst it does have the strengths, I had more fun with it than Ferris Bueller.
Really?
I think I did.
I went on a big John Hughes... Well, I was going to say big John Hughes marathon. That's not true. I watched Ferris Bueller and Breakfast Club. But...
An amazingly huge marathon of
went through his
two
entire
movies.
filmography of 2 movies. But when I watched those 2 movies around the same time, because they're famous and I needed to see them, they just made such an impression on me, like immediately. I was in, I think it was like the end of high school. I was like a senior in high school, and which is a great time to watch John Hughes movies, because it's basically made for that age, and Ferris Bueller's so fucking fun. I don't want to blue ball people. The bit I was gonna say before was he breaks the fourth wall a lot in this movie, Ferris Bueller, and he's telling the audience about his friend Cameron, and he's like, I should call. No, he called him already to hang out and play hooky with him, and Cameron said no because he's a responsible child, and Ferris is like, Cameron's probably sitting in his car right now debating whether or not he should hang out with me. And it cuts to Cameron in the car, just looking out the windshield. And he just goes, he's going to keep calling. He's going to keep calling. He's going to keep calling. And it's my favorite part of the movie. Oh, God. It just cracks me up so bad. I love that dry humor. That movie's got a lot of dry humor.
Yeah, it's hard to say which of these has done more culturally, because I think they've done different things for different generations.
You're absolutely right. It's not like School of Rock hasn't done anything culturally, but I think...
School of Rock put me on to rock music as a whole, because this movie came out when I would have been 8 or 9 years old.
Okay.
So I would have been not really in the know, but then I'm hearing Led Zeppelin, Motorhead, AC/DC, Sabbath, all of these names, and I'm like, what? Who are these people?
True, yeah.
There's even a bit in it where it has he mentions Roundabout by Yes.
Ha! That's fucking great.
Because that's the ending song of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Part 1
and that's
too,
like, yo, what? Because
That's
Yes
pretty
is an influential band anyway, as much as people are like, "Ooh, it's the JoJo song."
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it expanded my worldview of music. It made me want to play guitar, and I did for a couple of years, and then I stopped. Because that's just what I do. I do things, and then I don't do them anymore. I don't know. I'm having a hard time here, honestly. I know what I've said before about, like, you know, Ferris Bueller being a classic and everything, but as a film and everything, it probably is better than School of Rock, but personally, I'm torn.
Yeah, I absolutely get that personal bias. For me, I saw School of Rock a couple of years later in life. I didn't see it, I don't think, right when it came out. So it didn't hit at that same young age where it's like, oh, it's introducing me to all these things. I already knew about all these things. So to me, it's just a movie. And it's a fun movie. It's a good movie. I'm in no way saying it's not good. But to me, Ferris Bueller just has so much more of, like, when you watch it, there's an impact. Or at least it did to me.
Okay, I'll concede then. That's fine.
Yeah, it's again, I'm not trying to say School of Rock is a bad movie. I just don't think it compares as strongly to Ferris Bueller. We love Jack Black.
We do. He's not going to be out of a tournament with this. He's in another movie later on, but
he is? I don't remember which one that is. Oh, that's right.
Yes. Anyway, okay. C'est la vie. School of Rock.
Real quick, before we hit our next matchup, I think now is a good time to direct our attention, to an ad break. Hey, see what I did there? It's not funny.
Sorry!
I laughed.
And smash cut, we're back. So, what is our
You know
next
what's really bad? Hello.
Hello.
You know what's really bad?
What?
It's fucking Rotten Tomatoes has gone down, hasn't it?
Really?
But I can't access the fucking website.
Well, I guess we're just gonna have to,
No, I'm pissed. Why? Why, when we're doing this, you have all day to not be on. Oh, it's back. Okay, we're fine.
Oh, alright, well, crisis
It was
averted.
gone for like 10 minutes.
Crisis on Infinite Tomatoes averted.
Yes, thank you. So, next round. I'm just gonna, so we don't, not as all over the place, I'm just gonna list off, like, movie, director, audience score, critic score, budget, and then we go with the plot. And then we just do that, because otherwise we're just gonna forget things. Next up we have Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. 2010, romance action movie. 82% tomato meter, 84% audience score.
Alright, that's, I thought it would be higher, actually.
I thought it would be too, but you know what? I think it's okay, but it's like this. It is a Edgar Wright movie. He's a prolific British director. He's done the Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End, the Cornetto trilogy, as it's called. I think he also did that Tintin movie from 2011.
Oh, did he? I never saw that.
Yeah, I thought it was alright. So this movie's budget was estimated between 60 and 85 million.
Wow.
Only made back 50.
Really?
Adapted from a graphic novel series by Brian Lee O'Malley, it tells the story of Scott Pilgrim, who is a bass player in the band Sex Bob-omb.
Yes.
And it's about him falling in love with this girl named Ramona Flowers.
Yes.
And she has 7 evil ex-boyfriends that he has to defeat.
Now, is the graphic novel... I don't know how long the graphic novel series is. Is that all series is?
It's 6 books.
Is it about the same plot?
Yeah, it ends differently because I'm pretty sure the movie came out like just before the final issue was being released, so it has a different ending.
Okay.
But I've got all the graphic novels, I've read them, looking at them on my shelf right now. I think it's superior to the movie.
Maybe, probably. I mean, that's when you're doing a graphic novel, you have a lot more you can do with everything. So, I mean, I get that. But I will say the movie plays into the graphic novel style, and there's a lot of really good effects.
Yeah, a lot of video game references. Ensemble cast as well. Michael Cera being the leading man, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, you got Kieran Culkin, Chris Evans, Anna Kendrick, Brie Larson, Alison Pill, Aubrey Plaza, Brandon Routh, Jason Schwartzman, others.
Big cast.
Big cast. However, Back to the Future.
Oh.
1985, Robert Zemeckis, 96% tomato meter, 94% audience score.
Pretty universally loved movie.
$19 million budget, $388 million on the box office. It is about Marty McFly. He has an old friend, Doc Brown, and they travel to the past, and they have to go back to the future, which is their present.
Yeah, Doc Brown, the local lunatic mad scientist guy that everyone's like, oh, he's a hack. But then it turns out he actually made a functioning time machine using a DeLorean, and they go back to 1955 when Marty's parents were still in high school, and they almost derail their present day and have to keep it intact. So, pretty fun movie.
It's another legacy thing, isn't it?
Well, again, we're gonna... I'm trying to keep this as self-contained as possible when we touch on these franchise movies, because I don't even think we had to debate which of the Back to the Future trilogy we were going to put in. Like, it was pretty...
I mean, I think the second one is my favorite, but we put in the first, so...
Yeah, I mean...
Back to the Future 2, they go into the future, which is,
2015.
what was it, like 2015?
Which, it's so funny to think of that as the future now.
Yeah, and then the third one, they go back to the Old West.
Yes, 1885.
Yes.
Yeah, I think all three of them are good. I know some people don't like the third one.
I think it's good.
Yeah. And the second one maybe is the best one, but the first one's just got this great self-contained...
proper, like, 80s movie as well, like the way it's made and everything. Oddly enough, this franchise has a lot of weirdness, and it actually, it spawned a new law in making movies.
What, really? Oh, wait, is this because of the dad actor?
Yeah, so basically, in the first movie, the dad was played by, Crispin Glover.
Yes.
That was it. And so, when he appeared in, the other movie, he wasn't played by Crispin Glover anymore.
Yeah, big dispute.
He was portrayed by, by the studio, so he was portrayed by another man who had prosthetics on his face to look like Crispin Freeman.
That's right.
And then that created a whole thing because he sued Warner Brothers for that, and it basically created a new thing where it's like you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, oddly enough, you can't pretend that one actor is another actor.
In that sense, anyway. Like,
yeah, it's like, look, we put his face on it. It's literally Face Off. But yeah, so just as a movie, Back to the Future, really fucking fun, really good. And it's going up against Scott Pilgrim, which, I mean, I haven't seen Scott Pilgrim in a hot minute, so there's bits I remember, but I don't remember everything. I don't remember much I didn't like about it, though.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of controversy, a lot of online discourse about the character of Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, well, yeah, a lot of people are like, hey, don't forget, Scott Pilgrim's not an awesome person all the time.
Because something I left out is that he's in the start of the movie, he's in a relationship with a 17-year-old schoolgirl, and he is 22.
Yeah, not 17.
Yeah, so, and then he cheats on this schoolgirl with Ramona Flowers, who's this magical girl, kind of. Like, there's a lot of weird things that happen in this movie, like subspace highways and giant video game fights. Like, it's got a very niche form of visuals.
Yeah, not to mention that Ramona Flowers was like the prototypical alt-girlfriend fantasy.
Mm-hmm. It's often referred to as the manic pixie dream girl, which is it's the trope that a woman in a film who is quirky and weird only exists to the betterment of the male character. They're not their own person. They only exist as a way of highlighting that this man is in need of a personality check.
Yeah, right. So, you lose some wholesome points there, but...
I think the thing that's doing it for me is that the movie isn't as good as the graphic novels.
Well, I can't compare that. I haven't read the novels, but, I mean, I'll take your word for it.
I think you should. You'd really like them.
Probably.
There's a lot more in it. Like, the movie had to cut out a lot of different things.
Oh, yeah, that just comes with taking 6 graphic novels and trying to condense them into a movie, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be hard-pressed to vote for Back to the Future here at all. I think I was leaning that way anyway. But, again, it's not to say that Scott Pilgrim's a bad movie.
No, it's not bad. It didn't do particularly well when it first came out.
Surprisingly, when you said those numbers, I was actually very surprised. I thought it would have done really well.
Again, it's a cult classic. It's what can be defined as that.
Yeah, I guess so. A lot of these movies got their popularity after the fact, it turns out.
Mm-hmm.
But
it also had a different ending as well in the original production, but they changed it.
Really?
Yeah, in the original ending, he was going to end up with the schoolgirl character.
Oh, I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah, because
I
don't know why. But yeah, the movie basically ends with him and Ramona going off into a new world. Like, literally. They go into a door, it takes them somewhere else, and...
They enter the chalk zone.
What?
I lost you with that one.
The Chalk Zone?
Did you never see the show Chalk Zone?
I've never heard of Chalk Zone. What is that?
It was an old Nickelodeon cartoon.
Oh.
It was good, but it didn't last very long.
So Back to the Future.
Yeah. They don't go to the Chalk Zone.
No. They go back home.
Yes. Yeah, I think Back to the Future's got more of like the well-rounded, fun family movie vibe.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And Scott Pilgrim's got a great, like, alt quirky vibe to it. But when you're comparing the two, what would I rather watch? Straight up, maybe, yeah, I think I'd just go Back to the Future.
Back to the Future it is, alright. Move forward, Robert Zemeckis.
And we didn't even mention the bully character Biff, who's just a really fun antagonist.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Who
yeah.
are you looking at, butthead?
Butthead, hey, McFly! So
I like him better in the second movie where he's like Donald Trump.
he's basically like the Donald Trump the Conqueror.
Yeah, so, okay then. Next up, this is a weird one. This is a weird bracket.
I bet.
We have Get Out.
Ooh.
2017 comedy horror Jordan Peele. 98% on the tomato meter,
Fucking
86% on the audience score.
Fantastic movie. I only just saw it very, very recent. I mean, like 2 months ago. But fucking fantastic movie.
Budget of $4 million, box office at $255 million.
It only cost $4 million?
The plot is that this black guy has a white girlfriend.
Yes.
And they go to this rich white girl's family house over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And not everything is as it would seem. Things are not quite right.
He
has to get out.
It's black horror. It's, when you look at it through the lens of the main character, fucking terrifying. It's...
Because it's directed by Jordan Peele, who is of the comedy duo Key and Peele.
I think this was his first movie, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was his first directorial, or at least his biggest directorial endeavor.
And there's some cultural controversy around this movie, and not in the way that you might think when I say that. When this movie first came out, there was a very odd reaction from, to no one's surprise, white critics, where they just thought this movie was straight up a comedy. And upon seeing it, and then looking back on that fact, I said, how the fuck?
Yeah.
How the fuck do you watch that movie and just think it's a comedy? Like, there's funny
funny.
lines. There's funny scenes.
It's a horror comedy. It's not one or the other, it's both.
But to just think this movie's it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, even as a white person, it's horrifying.
Like, I'm looking at it and I'm going, that conceptually is horrifying. And it's not, there's like no jump scares. It's fucking...
Well, I think there maybe is one or two, but it's not a jump scare
like,
movie. It's about atmosphere and tense, dread, all of that
and just
stuff.
Conceptual horror. Fucking amazing. And I don't want to say anything more about it as far as the plot goes. You really should just watch it if you haven't.
Yeah, you have to go in blind. We've given away as much as we can without spoiling some of the stuff in it. So
yeah, and then when you learn about the two different endings, it's just so much more of like
Yeah.
a cultural message. Like
yeah,
it-
absolutely. This came out in 2017, so it's not exactly an old one. It's very with the current feelings towards Black Lives Matter and all of that stuff.
Racial relations as a whole, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's got a lot to say as a movie, and it's really fucking good at saying it.
But even without all of that, even without the cultural commentary, it's very impressive just on its own as a concept.
Mm-hmm. So when you said it was $4 million, and I'm thinking about the sunken place scene, that's fucking nuts.
Yeah, no, it's plus the cast as well. It's got some important names in there. It's got Daniel Kaluuya as the main character. He's a prominent British actor. He was in Black Panther, the
Yes.
original movie, and some other bits here and there. He's been quite a few places, honestly.
He's very good.
Yeah, you got Alison Williams, Bradley Whitford, Caleb Landry Jones. It's got a whole lot of things going for it.
And for Jordan Peele, like, coming out of just being the guy from Key and Peele, which is already, like, incredible. Everyone loves Jordan Peele. Everyone loves Key and Peele. And then he comes out and he says he's going to make a horror movie. And everyone, I think, if I remember correctly, everyone went, what? I don't know about that, Chief. And then it was fucking amazing.
And it's launched his career as a movie director. He had that other movie, Us, which I
yeah.
haven't seen. And then he's got another one coming out, isn't he? I forget. It's called something humorous. I know that.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, it immediately solidified him as a fantastic director. Like, immediately.
Yeah,
So-
he's up in the world. He's getting there.
and
Oh,
it's not like a
his-
M. Night Shyamalan
his,
Sixth Sense situation. Like, it's not a one-hit
No.
wonder. Us is, like,
No.
everyone agrees Us is also a great movie. I'm very excited for this next one.
His next one is called Nope.
No, that's what it is, yes.
It's also going to star Daniel Kaluuya as well. So
Fucking great. I love that.
that'll be fun. But yeah, you have this movie. I'm scared to say what it's going up against.
What is it? I'm so curious now. Because we just...
I'm
as
scared
soon as
because
we
of the
said-
following conversation.
As soon as we said Get Out, we went on such like a this movie's unbeatable. So now there's like two ways this could go. Either it's like Get Out immediately gets the win as soon as you say the name, or it's like this is going to be one of the toughest matchups we've ever had.
One chance out between two worlds. Fire Walk with Me.
Oh man!
Twin Peaks the movie.
Oh man!
1992, David Lynch, drama / crime / what the fuck, supernatural. 64% on the tomato meter, 78% on the audience score. I feel like that is revisionist history, first of all.
I think you're right. I think that score...
With a budget of 10 million and a box office of 4 million.
It made as much as Get Out cost, and it is less than
Everyone
half of its budget.
hated it. Everyone fucking hated this movie when it came out. And do you know why? If you listen to the TV tournament, you might have a fucking clue as to why. Because we voted Twin Peaks as the best television show of all time. Like, unanimously.
And looking
almost.
back,
We had like nearly an hour-long discussion about why it should be the best TV show ever.
debating, yeah. And looking back, I'm shocked that we actually came to that conclusion because we had so much to say about the ebb and flow of quality in that show. And
It's because of the impact that it had on TV as a whole. It has shaped thousands of other productions and the way television is made.
yeah.
Like, without Twin Peaks, we would not have anything like The Sopranos or Breaking Bad or Lost or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, it would literally, it's a blueprint of modern television
Fucking
dramas. However, the movie...
So I just want to, instead of like diving into what this movie is, right? Because that's...
How can you talk about the movie without... Okay, basic premise, alright?
Well, hold
It
on.
is about-
I just want to say before we like talk about the plot, because I feel like we could kind of get lost in the sauce there.
I'm just going to keep it at one sentence.
Okay, go for it.
Twin Peaks is about the murder of Laura Palmer,
Mhm.
right? Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me is about her last week alive.
Yeah, there you go. That's about the best summary you could give. I only saw this movie. I only saw this movie very recently.
Because I kept nagging you over like 2 years to
That's true,
watch
yes.
it.
And when I finally saw it, I felt so confused. And the order you're supposed to go with Twin Peaks is the order I went. You watch the first 2 seasons, then you watch the movie. I think there's something else I'm supposed to do next, and then you watch season 3, right?
No, well, you've technically done what you can. You just have to watch The Return now.
Okay. Still, I was so confused. And not because the movie's unclear. It's just made by David Lynch. And it's just a David Lynch project.
David Lynch films being Elephant Man, Eraserhead, Lost Highway, Inland Empire, Mulholland Drive, like, you know who David Lynch is, you know how he works, he's weird. He's fucking weird, that's his thing. That's what he sells himself as.
And the fact that I watched the movie and told you, like, I had a long list of thoughts about the movie that I had to write down as I was watching it. And
took us like a full day to correspond and figure out what the answer to your questions were.
Yeah, because I had a lot. And after that, you sent me a YouTube playlist of deleted scenes.
Commonly referred to as the missing pieces, which is everything that was left out of a movie at the behest of the studio.
And it equated to about another movie's length of fucking footage.
About an hour's long, if not that, like a little bit more.
And I kind of lost my mind when I saw how long that playlist was. I went a little crazy.
Some things are like, the way Twin Peaks is that you have to kind of watch the whole thing, but a lot of it isn't important to the whole mythos, and some of it is so fucking important that if you missed it, you would be confused forever.
And even when you see it, it's not that much clearer.
It's not clear which is which, what you have to pay attention to, so you end up having to pay attention to all of it, and then before you know it, like, you're in Deer Meadow with 2 random people, like Jack Bauer from 24 and some musician guy who's never acted since. Like, what the fuck?
It's a wild fucking movie, and I do not know how to quantify it as far as quality.
What is this going up against? Get Out.
I mean, I don't think we can have a fair discussion about this matchup.
Can we do a coin flip? I'm actually calling for a coin flip this time. Normally I'm against it, but with this one, like, I can't pick.
I understand.
I'm physically incapable of picking.
I understand why you're stuck. But
why?
What I meant by that is I don't think Fire Walks With Me has a chance.
Are you sure?
Get Out is just fucking fantastic. Fire Walk With Me, it caused so many conflicting, confusing feelings. Not to say even bad. It's not bad. But it's so that. If you want to flip a coin, that's fine. But I just...
No. I don't want this to be the Simpsons of the movie tournament, alright? I don't want that to happen with anything else ever again.
And I'm not trying to say, like, Fire Walk With Me, like, doesn't deserve it, or it's not good. It's just so... It's such an outlier You
can't really watch it if you've not seen the TV show beforehand.
That's true. It requires a lot of, like,
it's part of an extended media, you know?
That alone, I feel like, as a standalone movie, maybe unwatchable.
David Lynch himself has, and I quote, he said, "I feel bad that Fire Walk With Me did no business, and that a lot of people hate the film. But I really like the film. But it had a lot of baggage with it. It's as free and as experimental as it could be within the dictates it had to follow. And that, I think, sums it up."
Probably.
So... it is what it is. We know how I feel about Twin Peaks, but yeah, objectively, I think Get Out is just gonna have more of a chance in this tournament.
Yeah, especially once we get into the later rounds. I feel like Fire Walk With Me would have a hard time, so Get Out...
If it were just these two, like, I would probably just say that Fire Walk With Me is a better movie, but because it's in a tournament setup, I'm gonna have to go with Get Out, I'm afraid.
I think the standalone aspect is what does it for me. Like, I just don't think Fire Walk With Me as a standalone viewing experience holds up.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
So get out, get in.
Put the film, get out. Put the film, get in. Get in, get out. Fuck it all about. Vamp.
All right, so I mean,
Because I'm having to go into both fucking Rotten Tomatoes and then Wikipedia just so that I can get all of the relevant information for these movies. Takes a while. I have to type in 4 different things.
Yeah, once we get past the first round, this will go quicker. But yeah, this is not...
It's just setting up all of the reasons why they're in here and a lot of the backstory.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think so far we've it's been tougher than I thought for some of these matchups. But a few of them have been like, all right, come on, what are we even talking about here? Like, I'm still so upset about the Road to El Dorado, but
I hate this round.
oh god, what do we got?
Already, I fucking hate it.
What do we got?
First up is The Matrix.
Ooh, okay.
1999, science fiction action. 88% on the tomato meter, 85% on the audience score.
That sounds about right.
Starring Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie-Anne Moss, Hugo Weaving. Directed by the Wachowskis.
Yes. Very good movie.
The Matrix
it's a
is
classic.
about everything in life that we know is a simulation
Yes.
made by computer code.
Mhm.
And we are all actually in an underground society oppressed by evil machines that come and kill us.
Yes.
And so the Matrix is a digitally created world wherein things happen.
all of life that we think we're living is actually part of this computer program, and we're actually plugged into a water pod underground because machine octopuses wanted to harvest us or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a backstory and everything, but basically the main character, who is his Earth name is Thomas Anderson, but the movie refers to him as Neo.
Yes.
That's an alias he goes by on online forums as a hacker. He gets quote-unquote unplugged from the Matrix, so that he is put into quote-unquote the real world, and he is in a war against the machines, and he becomes Jesus.
He is...
Because he is the one.
The chosen one. The one. He is... Yeah, basically...
The main opposition in the Matrix being Agent Smith, portrayed by Hugo Weaving.
Mr. Anderson.
You see, the reason why we are free, and all the reasons, therefore, will bring us back exactly to the reason why we are here.
Just like his code starts glitching out. He's like, the reason for life is the reason that I'm Mr. Anderson. The reason is...
Welcome back, we missed you. Oh, fuck me. I love this movie. Was so formative because I watched it when I was like 5 years old, and I was like, holy fucking shit. The fight choreography. There's a lot of kung fu, a lot of wire technique, a lot of visual effects, the bullet time where he leans back and the bullets go over him. It's like, whoa, the cyberpunk thing.
Yep.
It's
everybody
fucking
having
key.
like oddly cool code names like Morpheus and Trinity.
The biblical fucking aspects that it drew upon. It's not even my favorite of the franchise. My favorite is the second one. We talked about it in the preamble episode.
Yeah. But this first one's like an undeniable classic.
Like the set pieces, the gunfights, everything. Free your mind.
The prophecy is true.
Oh yeah, that is from this. It had a budget of $63 million and it made back $465 million.
Woo! Heavy boy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe The Matrix and Lord of the Rings cost nearly the same amount.
Going up against Face Off. Face Off.
Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
1997. 92% on the tomato meter, 82% on the audience score. John Travolta, Nicolas Cage, directed by John Woo. Budget of $80 million, made back $245 million. John Travolta is John Travolta. Nicolas Cage is his enemy, Nicolas Cage. John Travolta has to pretend to be Nicolas Cage and then they get their faces swapped, and then there's scenes where Nicolas Cage is playing John Travolta, but he has to play Nicolas Cage, and then there's scenes where John Travolta is playing Nicolas Cage, but he has to pretend to be John Travolta.
Yeah, it's a lot of acting on acting on acting.
Travolta is an FBI agent, and Cage is a terrorist, sworn enemies after the terrorist killed the FBI agent's small boy child. They swap their faces, infiltrate an offshore oil rig prison with magnetic boots. And then the terrorist wakes up and he has his foe's face, and he goes home to his wife and fucks his wife. Because face off.
And there's that boat chase.
There's the boat chase where it drives through another boat and the boat explodes.
And then there's just fucking great lines like, I want to take his face off. And the fucker, I could eat a peach for hours.
And the face touch he does with his family, like the creepy little face wipe
The
that he does.
face touch is the dumbest part of the movie. It is like it's the signifying thing, right? Because like early in the movie they set the precedent that like this is just the thing this family does, where like the dad will rub his hand down the face of his son as like
Not his hand, his fingers. He takes his fingers, puts them forward, and just
right, yeah, exactly. And then like, you know, once they're swapped faces, you know, oh, I don't recognize you, you're not my dad. Then Nick Cage as Travolta does the face rub, and it's like, oh, this is my father. It's like
No, he does that to his wife.
Oh, the wife, sure, yes. But like, it's so stupid, and I love it. It's a dumb movie. It's
The
so
offshore
stupid.
oil rig prison with the magnet boots.
The magnet boots are the fucking craziest.
They have magnet boots, because whenever the prisoners get in a fight, they get detained by the magnets coming on. Oh my god.
Ah, face off.
I hate this round.
That's hilarious.
I don't know what to do, Carmine.
I
Help me.
actually kind of don't either, because as much as as much as like my bones want to say The Matrix is like objectively a better film, it's the fun factor is just too strong.
Resident Simp, I need an opinion.
We might have to flip a coin for this one.
I'm gonna ask for her opinion anyway, just in case.
But I mean, if you haven't seen Face Off, because odds are,
What are you doing with your life if you haven't seen Face Off?
odds are, if you've only seen one of these two movies, it's The Matrix.
Which came first? Face Off came first. It pre-debuted 2 years before The Matrix.
Which is fucking hilarious. I mean, there's just so many, like, there's so many gifs from Face Off. Like the fucking one when, at the very beginning, when Nick Cage is in like that priest getup.
He's planting a bomb in the mall and he's like, Hallelujah!
And this movie really does showcase Nick's good acting.
Yeah, because it's like I said earlier, right? You have these characters pretending to be each other, right?
Mhm.
But then they have to keep up appearances by pretending to be these characters.
Right.
So, John Travolta is John Travolta at the start of a movie, but then he gets his face swapped with Nick Cage, and so then Nick Cage is playing John Travolta's character, but then there's a part in the offshore oil rig prison where they meet each other with the faces swapped, so they have to basically pretend to be each other, and then they drop that aspect, and then you have John Travolta pretending to be Nicolas Cage, and he fucking nails it. And then Nicolas Cage also nails being John Travolta, because they're both that level of weird.
Yes.
It's like, you couldn't have done this with two other actors. These were the perfect people to choose for it.
And on paper, you might be thinking, John Travolta and Nick Cage? Like, what? But it works.
They're both just weirdos. Like, they're both freaks. In the nicest way possible. You got Nick Cage being Nick Cage, and then you have fucking the wickedly talented Adele Dazeem. Like, he's a fucking freak as well, but, I don't know.
It's such a, like,
Compared to The Matrix. The Matrix is more influential with cinema because it brought, that's the thing, actually. Did it steal things from Asian cinema, or did it,
well,
or did it, it was inspired because the Wachowskis are basically giant weebs, right? So they're inspired by anime and, like, Hong Kong kung fu sort of shit, and,
I mean, Morpheus has, like, a fucking katana, like...
Yeah.
and all they do is fucking martial arts. You know, but I don't listen. If we're talking about which movie was more influential, it's obviously The Matrix. If we're talking about which movie maybe has more of a cultural significance, it's The Matrix. But if we're talking about which movie's more fun to watch, I don't know the answer. Because The Matrix is very fun to watch, but it takes itself more seriously.
It's The Matrix.
You think the way to go is The Matrix here?
Yeah.
I was actually a little more torn than I thought you were going to be more torn, but I ended up
I thought about it, and I'm looking at all of the fucking depth on this Wikipedia article for The Matrix. Like, it won 4 Oscars.
Yeah.
Best visual effects, best film editing, best sound editing. Yes.
And then you take the
considered
music.
To be one of the best sci-fi movies of all time. It was added to the National Film Registry.
Yeah.
It has sequels. There's a 4th one coming out at the end of the year.
Which doesn't make sense, but we're not getting into that.
It doesn't make sense because they die at the end. How are they back now? It doesn't make sense.
I wasn't going to get into it, but here we are. Fine.
It's been like 20 years.
I oddly enough, the more I thought about it, the more torn I got. But you're right. I think it's got to be The Matrix.
You know what's even weirder though?
What?
The fact that everyone knows about The Matrix by now is that fucking Keanu Reeves was not the first one they approached to be Neo.
I know, it's gonna be Will fucking Smith.
Thing about Will Smith turning this down is that he instead did Wild Wild West.
That's fucking hilarious.
A really jank, shitty, fucking terrible movie.
Here's the thing, I only saw that movie once when I was very young, and because I was young, I really liked it, and because of that, I don't want to rewatch it.
Don't.
I don't want to ruin it for myself.
Fucking don't. It's not good.
Also, the idea, because a very trademark Will Smith thing to do at the time, which he did for Wild Wild West, was to make a song about the movie he's in.
Wicka Wild Wild West, Jim West, Desperado, no, don't want nada.
Welcome to the Wild Wild West. The idea...
Welcome to the Matrix.
That's what I was going to say. The idea that he would have made a song for the Matrix is fucking hilarious.
Compared to the fucking, like, monolithic chanting that they had in the soundtrack. Fucking great soundtrack, by the way.
And here's the thing. Keanu Reeves is so good at what that character's supposed to be. And just imagining trying to put Will Smith in that role...
I mean, he's done, like, what was his recent film, Gemini Man? Which was really bad.
Is it? I didn't see it.
Yeah, the visuals are shit.
Oh, man.
It's basically deep fake the movie. Like, it's really not good.
Oh.
But no, Will Smith is no stranger to sci-fi. He was in fucking Men in Black, for God's sake. Like, I feel like he would have been fine, but...
But even
just
that, though, like,
Keanu,
Men in Black
like...
is a comedy sci-fi.
Yeah, that's true.
Matrix takes itself seriously.
Yeah.
I don't think he could have done that.
And he didn't.
Well, yeah.
I think he turned out alright.
It's so funny that he's like, no, I'd rather do Wild Wild West.
The weirdest thing is that fucking Morpheus was going to be Val Kilmer.
Oh my god, I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Fuck would that have been?
Dude, imagining Kilmer and Smith in those movies instead of fucking...
I guarantee you they would not have done well.
No. That would have been... We would not be having this conversation about The Matrix if that was how it turned out.
Nah, definitely not.
But, so yeah, I think with the cast they chose, I think we're going to go with The Matrix here.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's sad to see Face Off go in the first round because it is one of my favorite films. I probably put it third on like the podium.
Yeah.
But, you know,
if you haven't seen
it has to be done.
If you haven't seen it, I'm legitimately saying go watch it. It's fun.
It's not a bad movie.
No,
I don't know if there's any discourse around this, but it's not a bad movie.
It depends how you're going to measure that part objectively, but it's a fun movie to watch regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that's where we're at.
Okay.
So while he's pulling up the next matchup, I'll just say that he saw Face Off way before I did. Back, for anyone who watched our or listened to our internet episode, we talked about The Best Friends. They were part of the only reason I know about this movie. And then you started telling me you actually love it. And so when I saw it for the first time, I was just in awe. I don't know what I expected, but it was not that, and I fucking loved it.
Remember when you came to this country and I gave you a fucking DVD of it?
That was one of your gifts to me. It was a copy of Face Off on DVD.
Yeah.
fucking...
Specifically a Region 1 disc, which I couldn't play in my country, so he had to have it. Do you still own it?
Of course I do. It's right there. I'm looking at it.
Neat.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad. Okay. I don't think there's going to be much discourse in the way of this next bracket, but I think it's going to be an interesting discussion.
Okay, what do we got?
We got Pulp Fiction.
Mm.
1994, Quentin Tarantino, 92% tomato meter, 96% audience score. What is the plot?
Well, you have John Travolta again and Samuel L. Jackson as... I don't even know actually what they do.
It's a weird thing because it doesn't follow a conventional narrative structure. It's like out of order.
This is the movie that like made Tarantino famous for his out of order storytelling.
I think they're hitmen.
Maybe. Yeah, that sounds about right. And
But then you also have the fighter guy, and
is that Bruce Willis's character?
yeah.
Yeah. There's
There's
a
a lot of intercrossed stories.
Uma Thurman's character. There's a lot going on in this movie, and it tells itself out of order. So it's usually a movie people have to watch more than once. But I don't think
On
anyone's
Wikipedia, it says, as plot occurs out of chronological order, the film is also self-referential from its opening moments, beginning with a title card that gives 2 dictionary definitions of pulp. Considerable screen time is devoted to monologues and casual conversations with eclectic dialogue revealing each character's perspectives on several subjects.
One of my favorite conversations in the movie is when Travolta and Jackson are talking about fast food in other countries.
A Royale with cheese. It's all because of a metric system.
They don't call it a quarter pounder? No, dude, they don't have the metric system. They don't know what the fuck
I
a
wonder what
quarter
they
pounder
call a big Uniburger. So, that movie, the budget was estimated around 8 million, and it made back 200 million.
Ooh.
It's another one of those ones.
Yeah.
Going up against a fucking juggernaut.
Oh, yeah?
Star Wars.
Oh, man! And we're specifically talking about episode 4.
Nah.
Oh?
We have a different trilogies, don't we?
Oh, so which one is this?
The Force Awakens.
Ooh, that changes things.
93% tomato meter, 85% audience score. Who directed this one? Which one of them did? J.J. Abrams,
right? Yeah.
J.J. Abrams, 2015, like $300 million budget, $2 billion at the box office. Heavy hitter, we all know about Star Wars. It's the first one of the new trilogy. We don't have to explain shit, everyone knows.
And this movie was pretty universally enjoyed.
Yeah, it's the strongest of the trilogy in our opinion, as you heard last episode.
Absolutely. I like Kylo Ren.
In this movie, yes.
I think he's the perfect successor to Darth Vader. In every conceivable
movie,
way.
Yes.
No, in all the movies.
No.
Yeah, because Darth Vader is also a whiny, angsty child.
It was never portrayed as that in the original trilogy. If you think that, you're delusional.
I don't care. That's what he is.
He was.
It's what he is.
I lied.
He's also an angsty child who likes to look cool and tall.
But the thing is, he was cool and tall. He never pretended to be. He was cool and
even
tall.
in the original trilogy, by the end of the last movie, you realize what he is. A fucking child.
Nah.
I hold that opinion. But regardless, we're not talking about the original trilogy. I think the characters in Force Awakens are good. I like Kylo Ren. I like Rey. I like Finn. I like Poe. I think BB-8's a fun droid character.
Little beep boop ball, man.
The nostalgia of the occasional original cast members that are in it is fun.
Joey, we're home.
That's not how the Force works.
Son.
And then you compare it to Pulp Fiction, which is a very different movie.
Don't be such a square.
That's right, I forgot about that. I don't know how to compare these. Wait.
Thinking about it, Pulp Fiction is an auteur piece.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars is just a franchise. perhaps one of, if not the biggest film franchises.
That is true. And episode
Pulp
7...
Fiction is more of a work of art. Okay.
I think this
Comparing them in the style of cakes, for a second.
Okay, I want to hear where this goes.
So, Pulp Fiction is like, you know those, like, cooking programs where they make those weird cakes?
Yes.
It's one of those.
Uh-huh.
Whereas Star Wars The Force Awakens is, Tesco's finest chocolate gatto.
I think this has to be a similar conversation to what we had with Parasite and Pirates of the Caribbean.
I think you're right. And I think with that, I think I know who I'm going to pick.
Is it Pulp Fiction?
I think so.
Yeah, I think Star Wars is great. There's no denying that. And Episode 7 is the best movie of the sequel trilogy. It's really good. It's got a lot of standalone power. It's why we picked it as the entry of that trilogy. Like I said, I like almost everything about it. The music's fantastic. We didn't even talk about that. But the just originality of Pulp Fiction. And I know nowadays there's like a weird stigma about Pulp Fiction, whereas like if you
Well,
say
I mean,
Pulp Fiction,
it was commissioned by Harvey Weinstein, which is unfortunate.
I mean, not even just that part, but like there's that whole thing of like, ladies, if he says his favorite movie is Pulp Fiction, run away. And it's like, all right, sure.
If he says his favorite movie is Fight Club, run away.
Yeah, which I think Fight Club's also in this bracket. But it's a really good movie. Like, no matter what you want to say about people who like it, it's a good movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, as much as I think Episode 7's awesome, I think we have to go with Pulp Fiction.
I think it's going to have a bit of a rough time in this tournament, but in this particular bracket, I just think it's the more enjoyable, better movie.
Yeah, I don't see it winning the whole thing, but I think we have to go with this one.
Okay. So, moving on next, we have the aforementioned Breakfast Club.
I love this movie so much.
John Hughes, 1985, comedy drama. 89% tomato meter, 92% audience score. Collection of stars who came to be known as the Brat Pack. Emilio Estevez, Anthony Michael Hall, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy. They spend Saturday at school under detention. They all come from different cliques or all different personalities, and then they all become friends through this. They learn about a lot of things from each other. Budget of $1 million.
Oh, wow.
A singular million.
This might be the cheapest movie in the entire tournament.
Which, to be fair, is because it only takes place in, 2 locations?
Yeah, there's a hallway scene, which is probably the most expansive the whole thing
It's just
gets.
in a school. You can rent out a school for, less than 100,000.
Probably. Maybe less than that.
And then the box office returns were 50 million, so... That's a 550 million times return or whatever. Yeah, that's basically it. On a random Saturday, the jock, the posh girl, the nerd, punk, and the outcast all come together, spend a day learning about each other. Coming of age movie, John Hughes.
Yep. And it's realizing that they are more than their stereotypes.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Fucking
the
great
criminal,
movie.
the
Fantastic.
princess, the athlete, the brain, and the basket case. And then you have
That's
the
it,
principal, Principal Vernon.
Oh, he's fucking great. What a great character that is.
There's 7 cast members in this, basically.
Yeah. And if
got,
you count the one dad that we see, the athlete's dad.
Yeah. The 5 kids, the vice principal, the janitor, and the dad, and that's it.
Oh yeah, the janitor. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it going up
So-
against?
Star Wars?
Which one?
Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Oh man.
George Lucas, 80% tomato meter, 60% audience score, 2005. It's the penultimate chapter. It's the final chapter of the original, this fucking prequel trilogy. And you see Anakin become Darth Vader and, General Kenobi.
It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground.
You underestimate my power.
No, really, it's a bad idea.
Into exile I must go.
Everything bad happened, it did. Listen.
Breakfast Club versus Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of a fucking Sith. What do you do?
Dude, imagine a scene where they're all in that library in detention, and then the principal comes in, and it's a low shot from behind him, like at his hip, and he just fucking opens up a lightsaber.
And he's like, mess with a bull, you get the horns.
Oh, God.
Fun fact about Revenge of a Sith.
What?
It's the highest ever opening day gross on a Thursday. What are these records? Who keeps track of this shit? What was... Hey, Carl! What movie made the most money ever on a Thursday? Star Wars Episode 3.
No, you know what that fact says to me? It says, it's gotta have some accolade, right? It's a fucking Star Wars movie. There's gotta be something it did well. And it's like, well, technically, out of every movie that's ever come out on a Thursday, it's the highest grossing one. It's like, oh, okay.
They do that with loads of different movies. They're like, the highest grossing R-rated movie on a weekend opening. They had so many fucking modifiers.
It's so ridiculous.
So it had a budget of 113 million and it made back 868 million. Oddly enough, Ewan McGregor gets first billing.
I mean, he's fucking great in that movie.
Yeah, but he's not the main character.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, Hayden Christensen, Ian McDermott, Samuel L. Jackson, Christopher Lee, who's in like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
build above fucking 3PO and the other one.
The R2-D2?
Yeah, and Yoda.
Listen, I assume...
We just got rid of a Star Wars. We're going to have to do it again now? I don't know.
I was just going to say, I hope one of the Star Wars movies makes it through the first round, but I don't think it's going to be this one.
The prequel and the sequel trilogies? Nah. I don't think so.
It's just Breakfast Club is so iconic. And so is Episode 3, but not for the same reasons.
I mean, it's a good movie. Just because
it's the best of the prequels.
Yeah.
And, you know, say what you want about its writing. But
say what you want about the franchise.
Yeah, but it's got cool parts. The fight on Volcano Place was cool.
Yeah, General Grievous was cool.
Yeah. Ewan McGregor's really good.
Yoda went into space.
I had to wait to make sense of the continuity, I must. But I think Breakfast Club just has too many great things going on for such a simple movie.
It is, yeah. You know, in TV, you have a bottle episode?
Yes.
Where it's contained to one set piece. That's what the Breakfast Club is, kind of.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if that movie inspired a lot of those episodes.
Like, the iconic ending made me cry, I think.
Dude, the two scenes that always stick out to me. The dancing scene and when they're all just sitting there and it starts getting really tense, and then Brian, the nerd character, starts talking about his art project and his locker, and it's such a great, heartfelt scene.
You know what's weird about him?
What?
He was in The Dark Knight.
What?
Yeah, you know that news reporter that the Joker got? Like, towards the end?
Are you fucking telling me that's him?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Right? Isn't that weird?
Oh, God.
I've actually diverted to the resident simp on this.
Really?
I've had to.
I think it's Breakfast Club.
They go with Revenge of the Sith because Bender doesn't know what consent is.
Okay, listen.
He goes under a table and shoves his head in a girl's crotch, and it isn't nice.
It's not, but at that phase of the movie, he's not a nice character. And he doesn't really become one. Like, that's part of the point.
Anakin Skywalker murders children.
I know, right? And inadvertently kills his own wife. Yeah, no, I think I'm sticking
That's not true. It's impossible.
In your anger, you killed her.
No. Oh, that shit was so lame. I can't believe that actually
Right?
happened.
I have to go Breakfast
Because
Club.
despite whatever you fucking said, like, Darth Vader just being an emo kid, like, no, in the original trilogy he was anything but. He was never presented as that. He was presented as the lead antagonistic force, and it's something that pop culture has carried forward to the present day. They made him go, no! What the fuck were they thinking? I get it, it's to show that he's just a human inside the little fucking robot suit, but like... Nah,
They
mate.
made him lame.
Lame. Ah,
I'm going Breakfast Club.
okay. I mean, hey, they're both good.
Sure.
But,
yeah.
I guess Breakfast Club.
I love that back-to-back Star Wars movies have been eliminated in the first round. I think that's hilarious.
Well, they're the weakest ones, to be fair, out of the three of them, so...
That is true. Out of the trilogy that we nominated, they were the weakest ones.
Why didn't we just pick one Star Wars movie?
Because there's
This is
three
a waste
different
of
trilogies.
time. This is a waste of fucking time. What are we doing here with our lives?
To be fair, we didn't know how these matchups were. It's a randomized bracket.
And to be fair, like, I said it in the episode, we've had each trilogy come out in different stages of the world.
Yes.
And, like, they are each microcosms of the way movies were made in the 80s, the 2000s, and now present day. So,
yeah.
it's they each have their own niche. Might as well be different movies.
Yeah, essentially. So,
So,
what do we got next?
Zombieland.
Ooh, I love this movie.
2009 comedy horror, 89% tomato meter, 86% audience score. Directed by Ruben Fleischer.
Twinkies.
What else has he done? 30 Minutes or Less, Venom.
Ooh.
That's it.
Oh.
So no, okay. I mean, he's directed Zombieland was his first one. Then he did 30 Minutes or Less, which is about the pizza delivery guy with a bomb that was loosely inspired by the real thing.
Oh, okay.
Gangster Squad, which I don't think anyone knows what that is.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
And then Venom, and then the Zombieland sequel, and apparently he's doing the Uncharted movie. So
Oh.
got
Is he
something
doing
going
Venom
for him.
and Carnage?
no,
Really?
no,
Wow, that's interesting.
he's a producer though. He's an executive producer.
Oh, okay. All right. I like this guy's
Zombieland.
movies for the most part.
2009. Jesse Eisenberg, man, Jesus Christ. Fucking, what the fuck? Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, Abigail Breslin go on a road trip across the United States to find a place where there's no more zombies, because there's zombies around, and it's, they're all named after states, and there's rules, cardio, double tap, beware of bathrooms,
Mm-hmm.
whole load of stuff.
A very fun movie.
Yeah.
Beep.
He agrees. Honk for Zombieland.
Yeah. What is it going up against?
Night at the Museum.
Oh.
2006 adventure comedy, 43% tomato meter, 67% audience score.
Really? That low?
Directed by Sean Levy, who is one of the two creative minds behind Stranger Things.
I thought people fucking loved this movie.
He's also done Big Fat Liar, Cheap Above a Dozen, and probably some other shit. He's an executive producer on Stranger Things, the Duffy Brothers direct. But yeah, this is Ben Stiller in a museum where everything comes to life. Robin Williams is in this as Theodore Roosevelt.
Yup.
Well, a waxwork of Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, so the plot of Night at the Museum is that Ben Stiller needs a job because he's a loser, and he gets a job working the night shift security guard at a museum. And it turns out there's one of the things in the museum is this magical tablet that when the sun goes down or what at some point in the night, everything else in the museum comes to life.
Including bunch of fucking shit. Dinosaur,
The
Attila
T-Rex
Hun,
skeleton, yeah.
T-Rex,
The miniatures of the cowboys and the
Owen
Romans.
Wilson and Steve Coogan, Christopher Columbus statue,
Yeah.
Dum Dum, give me gum gum. Lewis and Clark, the little monkey.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of shit. It's fun. It's good.
It's fun and it's good, and Dick Van Dyke is an evil man who wants the tablet because it makes him young.
Oh, yeah.
Dick Van Dyke, Mickey Rooney, and Bill Cobbs all play old men, and then when they get hold of a tablet, they become young men, basically. They stay the same looking, but they have sick kung fu abilities. Paul Rudd is in this as well.
He is? Who does he play?
He plays his ex-wife's new boyfriend.
Oh, that's right, yes.
He's in like the opening.
Yeah.
Do you know this was based on a 1993 book?
I did not.
Yeah, by Croatian illustrator Milan Trenk.
Nice. All right.
Trench. I don't know.
This movie went on to become a trilogy, but again, we're just talking about the first one.
Was there a third one?
I think so, right? Semi-recently, wasn't there?
I remember there being a second one.
I thought there was I thought there was a third one.
Oh, yeah, no, Battle of the Smithsonian and then Secret of the Tomb.
Yes.
They're doing a remake?
Really?
Already?
Why?
Leave it alone.
Yeah, no, you don't need to remake that one.
Budget of 110 million, made back 574 million. Zombieland's budget was 23 million, made back 100 million.
Okay, so ratio-wise, they made about the same.
These are two comedies with supernatural elements.
Yes.
One is family-oriented, one is adult-oriented.
Yes, absolutely. And,
remember when Bill Murray played himself?
I do, and they shot him.
You have any regrets? Garfield.
I forgot that line.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I feel like there was a moment where Zombieland was very culturally significant, but I feel like that's faded away.
Well, there was a sequel that came out recently. I don't know how well received that was. I haven't seen it.
I haven't either. I don't even know if people really talked about it.
Woody Harrelson is good.
Woody Harrelson's great. This was one of the first movies I ever saw him in, and it made me immediately fall in love with him as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the classic Ben Stiller comedy, and it has exactly the vibe you think of when I say those words. It's good, though. And, very touching roles from Robin Williams and the miniatures. Owen Wilson is, one of the most beloved characters in this franchise, I think.
Yeah. Well, him and Steve Coogan, to be fair. Who are they?
Yes,
They're
both of them
Jedediah
together.
Smith and Octavius for Roman Empire.
That's it, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, man, I'm actually a little more torn on this than I thought I was going to be. Because when you said Zombieland, I was like, oh, I love that fucking movie. But then Night of the Museum's really good.
I think I'm putting more towards Night of the Museum, honestly.
I think I agree with you. Which is
it's,
shocking.
It's a lot more rewatchable.
Maybe, yeah. I think you're right.
Based on my own experience, I've seen Night of the Museum countless times, and I've only seen Zombieland twice.
I think I only saw Zombieland once in theaters.
I think the editing was good in Zombieland. That's one of the things I thought stood out a little bit, but
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of that Scott Pilgrim vibe to its editing.
Yeah, it's I think dynamic is a good term for it.
Yeah, that works. Very yeah. But I think I gotta go with Night of the Museum.
Whoa. Okay. Put some WD-40 down your throat, okay?
I'm disintegrating over my tornness.
Night of the Museum advances. Not mad. It's actually, that could do with a good chance of getting at least to the semis.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so next up we have two comedies. Two very different comedies. Two very vastly different comedies. I'm so curious as to where we're going to go here.
Okay, now I'm curious.
Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
The remake. Well, not remake, not
2017.
really. It is a sequel.
Spiritual sequel.
Yeah.
Which has Dwayne Johnson, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, Nick Jonas, and Bobby Cannavale.
Yeah, actually a very strong cast.
It is about this magic video game where you get put into the video game and you are Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson now.
Yeah, the board game from the original movie evolved with the times and is now a video game.
Didn't it? Yeah. Because you see the original board game of drums, don't you? And then it changes into a fucking NES cartridge or something.
Yeah, because it starts out with that teenager and he's like, fucking board game? Who plays board games? Which is a kind of cheesy, cringy line, but then
You ever
it
been to a
turns
fucking
itself-
board game cafe, dude?
Yeah, then it turns itself into a video game, and he's like, oh, well, now I'll play it.
Now I'll play this fucking outdated... No, to be fair, at the time, it starts with, I think, 1 or 2 kids in, like, the 90s or the 80s or something, and then it jumps forward to present day.
Just the one kid, yeah.
Yeah, because he's stuck in the game, and then
Yes.
they find him in the game. Yeah, I think it's good, because you have people like Jack Black, Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart playing basically teenagers stuck inside their bodies.
Yeah, so
And
the big difference between this and the original Jumanji is that in the original Jumanji, it was just the kids in the board game, or the board game more coming into their house.
Yeah, the board game came into their house. They didn't even go in. Like,
Right.
Robin
With
Williams
this-
went in, and then he came out as a crazy man.
With this, we meet 4 teenagers and get to know them a little bit, and then they get sucked into the video game and they play as avatars who are played by these big actors, The Rock and Jack Black and Kevin Hart and Karen Gillan. So
So The
they're
Rock is he's playing like a nerdy guy, like a soft, timid guy.
Yeah,
Kevin
that's the
Hart,
thing,
The
they're
little
all,
guy
like,
is played by
going-
like a quarterback. Jack Black plays a teenage girl, which is
yeah.
hilarious in itself, and Karen Gillan is like a shy, awkward, nerdy girl as well.
Yeah. And I
I
think
think-
this movie's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, we said it in the preamble. I think it beats out the original alone just because it has a lot more facets to it, and it did a lot better than people were expecting it to be.
One of my favorite lines, I should say, in the movie comes somewhere towards the end, and there's the whole thing of like they have stats, they have strengths and weaknesses, and
Yeah.
The Rock discovers that strength is one of his strengths, and so Kevin Hart goes, "Yeah, strength is one of his strengths. Cake makes me explode."
It does. Yeah. And then there's a point where he like gets a bit of cake or something, and then he literally loses a life. He dies
He fucking explodes. It's fucking
Yeah.
great.
because they all have lives as well. That's another thing, and some of them die.
Yeah,
at
they have 3
various
lives,
points,
and if you
like,
die in the game, you die for real. It's one of those.
"Die in
but-
game, you die for real." Where is that from?
yeah.
Where is that fucking quote from?
What's the
Speaking of
first movie that
movies.
did that? Yeah, I don't know, actually.
If you die in the game, you die in real life.
I feel like it's actually maybe inspired by The Matrix.
No, apparently it's a quote from a 2006 horror film, Stay Alive.
Really? Oh,
Apparently
wow.
I'm reading this on the Game Grumps Wikipedia.
Oh, wow.
Because that is the
but
plot
yeah.
of the movie. If you die in the game, you die for real.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, tropey things, but, like, it's a good movie. It's a very funny movie.
However,
What is it going up against? You said it's another comedy.
what do you think is going up against for me to say, however, in that tone?
I'm trying to remember what else was on the list. I don't have the faintest clue.
I'll tell you. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, that's so different. That's so fucking different.
1975, 97% on the tomato meter, 95% on the audience score. A budget of $400,000.
Oh, wow. That's
And it
the
made
cheapest
$5
movie.
million at the box office.
Yeah, holy shit.
Directed by Monty Python, the Monty Python British comedy troupe. 1975, a whole 20 years before we were born.
All right, here's what makes this such a wild matchup. Jumanji is quintessential, well done, but quintessential modern Hollywood comedy.
This
You know what I
is
mean?
fucking old school British comedy.
This is dry British.
You can't fucking compare.
It's 2 different languages of comedy.
Like the opening credits, they have a gag where it's like they have the subtitles done by like a Swedish person, and it's basically advertising the country of Sweden. And they reveal midway through the subtitles that they fired the old subtitles team.
You're very self-referential.
Yeah,
And, like,
it's a group of them portraying the Knights of the Round Table, trying to find the Holy Grail. You know, the old adage of the Holy Grail.
mhm.
You have all of the stuff in there. You have Lady of the Lake, the Black Knight,
Black Knight's
um,
classic.
Sir Robin, but not quite so brave as Sir Lancelot. The intermission. Ransom me these riddles free.
There are those who call me Tim.
The knights who say, "Neh."
Neh.
The rabbit, the evil rabbit.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a
and the end where they all get arrested by real police. Oh my god. Man, I like the new Jumanji, but this is like...
I really like the new Jumanji, and I want to give it its credit because I know a lot of people shit on it when it got announced, when the trailers started coming out. It was
proved wrong. Like, they proved us wrong by making it good.
Yeah, it's a great movie, and the sequel's also great. But Monty Python's so fucking funny.
You can't, like... It's one of the, Monty Python has become one of the building blocks of a certain type of comedy.
It is, like, on the Mount Rushmore.
Jumanji is, like, it's doing things that have already been done, you know?
Yeah, it really
does it
good
well,
at those things.
But it's, like, you know, we've seen it before.
Yeah, it's quintessential Hollywood comedy. It's really good at it, but it is that. Monty Python's on the fucking Mount Rushmore of comedy.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the thing is, this is specific to Monty Python.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will put Life of Brian ahead of Holy Grail for some reason.
I have not seen Life of Brian.
Like, it's literally every list of, like, what are the best comedies ever made by, like, British institutions. Life of Brian will always be number one.
Mm.
Because it's about Jesus, and it has the whole Jesus thing, and...
yeah.
I don't even know which one came before. I think Holy Grail might have come after. Yeah, I think so. So, yeah, I've seen both. And for me, I was a little bit bored during the first part of Life of Brian, not gonna lie.
Oh, okay.
But then when they go full in onto the, like, he's the Messiah, he's Jesus, but really he's just some random guy. It's not Jesus at all.
Yeah.
That's when it got funny. But, yeah. I think Holy Grail just has a lot more stuff in it.
It's so fucking funny.
It is. So there we go. It advances.
If we have to match it up against something that's not a comedy, it might be a closer call. But comedy to comedy, Holy Grail's fucking almost untouchable.
Yeah, it has to be something from like a different genre that's done like almost better than Holy Grail, which is going to be a hard thing to find. But this next bracket is
how many more matchups do we have in the first round?
2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh wow! So let's try and we're already 2 hours in. Let's try and speed through these.
Jackass the movie.
Okay, very good. It's not a traditional.
I'm Steve-O, and this is the Butt Chug.
It's not a narrative film. It's a bunch of guys filming themselves doing ridiculous stunts and pranks.
49% on the Tomato Meter, 75% on the audience score. 2002 it came out.
I've seen
critics. Obviously, critics are not going to like this. Like,
I guess, but you have to go into this knowing what it is, right? Like, and then judge it.
It's a TV show before it became a movie, so it had its own. It had a predicate. 5 million budget, 79 million box office. Some of the things that they do include skate bowling, where Bam Margera and Ryan Dunn skateboard in bowling lanes whilst they're throwing balls. Golf cart stuff.
Is this the one where they do the dick sock puppet that when they stick it in the hole with the snake?
I can't remember. I think they do. I think they put their dick in mouse traps.
That might be also it. But here's the thing. I don't remember the specifics of this movie. So when I think about it, I just think of the Jackass vibe.
Yeah.
So that might go to its deficit, depending on what the matchup is.
It's going up against Fight Club.
Okay, listen. All right.
1999. Who did it? David Fincher. David Fincher did this.
Okay.
79% Tomato Meter, 96% audience score, budget of 63 million, box office 101 million, cult classic.
Ed Norton, Brad Pitt, fucking iconic movie.
The first rule of Fight Club is do not talk about Fight Club, so I guess we have to adhere to that rule, I'm sorry.
And if you somehow do not know the twist of Fight Club and have never seen it, go watch it. It's great.
It's one of those films we aforementioned before. If someone says Fight Club's their favorite movie, you run, because Brad Pitt's Tyler Durden, not someone you want to be.
It's
about
a toxic masculinity film, for sure.
It's toxic masculinity, it's counterculture, it's basically communism almost. Like, it's very anti-capitalist in its message and themes.
Yeah.
It's something I did in film studies, so I have an extensive knowledge of how this movie works.
And not gonna lie, its ending's pretty fucking wild.
Yeah.
For what starts as a very simple premise, the ending's buck wild.
You know that ending shot where they're looking out the window and all the apartment buildings are falling down? Ellie did a painting of that for me.
Oh, that's fantastic. I would love to see that, actually.
And it's on my wall next to my Twin Peaks vinyl record. It's one of the first things I think that they did for me. So I had it framed. It's on my wall. I look at it sometimes and I'm like, yeah, you did meet me at a very strange time in my life.
I think this matchup is pretty simple.
Why did we include Jackass in this tournament?
Honestly, I don't even think I realized that was on the list. It went under the radar.
I don't even know where this came from. I think it was something that I submitted.
Yeah, I think because we started this by just putting on a piece of paper movies that we've seen.
Yeah, and I was just going through like a random bit on Netflix, I think, and Jackass came up.
Yeah. I do think it's an I'm a fan of most Jackass. Sometimes it gets a little too gross.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's been 3 movies, and there's another one coming out soon.
Yeah, and then, there's a whole thing about some of the cast members have since passed on. And
Brian Dunn, horribly, and Bam Margera went fucking nuts, and has never been the same since, unfortunately.
Yeah, then there's the changes in lifestyle for some of them.
Steve-O
probably should have been dead by now, but
now he's an exemplary human being, which is good.
Yeah, he's sobered up. He's actually a great icon for that kind of thing. But it's going up against a really strong narrative film in Fight Club, and I just don't think it's close.
Yeah. Just by virtue of who it's up against, I think Fight Club gets an easy bye here.
Yeah, unfortunately. Jackass is fun. I enjoy it, but not everyone does.
And that's fine. I want to watch it with you.
I think that'd be fun. Let's do it.
We should just marathon them at some point somehow.
Sure, I'm game for that.
Next round.
Fight Club takes that one.
Okay, we have Snatch.
Oh!
2000. 74% tomato meter, 93% audience score. Directed by Guy Ritchie. Ensemble cast. London's criminal underground. One plotline is about a stolen diamond. The other one is about boxing matches underground.
Fucking hilarious. Also Brad Pitt. Fucking hilarious movie.
Brad Pitt as an Irish traveller. One Punch Mickey O'Neill.
Yeah.
Boris the Blade. Who keeps dying, but he doesn't.
The heist scene at the beginning is so...
Benicio del Toro.
That's right.
Yes. Pretending to be rabbis.
The heist at the beginning is one of
Brick
the fucking
top.
funniest scenes.
Oh, fuckface. That's a good one, Errol. I'll remember that next time I'm climbing off your mum.
Of course, fucking of course.
Jason Statham.
Yes.
Yeah, like, there's a whole lot of things here. Quintessential British cinema.
Also, it is a classic example of Guy Ritchie, but it is also, in my opinion, a classic example of the early 2000s film.
I mean, it is literally 2000, so...
Like, I feel like if there's a vibe to early 2000s movies, it's that.
You like dags? Dogs. I love dags. 10 million budget, which is surprising considering the cast.
Yeah.
83 million returns.
I'm actually surprised. If you had told me this was like a cult classic and didn't do well at the box office, I would have absolutely believed you.
I think just because a lot of London probably came out to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a whole big thing going up against... George up the jungle, strong as he can be.
Okay. Brendan
Watch
Fraser.
out for that tree. 1997 Disney. 56% on the tomato meter, 41% on the audience score. Nobody likes this movie. I don't care. It's one of my favorite movies from childhood. Brendan Fraser plays George of the Jungle. He's basically Tarzan, but better. And he goes to the big city, and there's a whole load of different stories in there.
The sneaker scene.
Next time, George, get a bigger box.
Very fun movie. Very
Bad guy
enjoyable.
falls in poop. Classic element of physical comedy. Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready? Ready!
Ah! It's a great, and I do enjoy it. I don't remember
It's
it.
fun. It's so fun. I love it. It's one of my favorite movies.
I don't remember it as strongly as you do because I don't think I watched it nearly as much. I might have actually only seen it once.
Oh,
But-
dude.
But it is fun. I do
Come
like
on. John Cleese is an ape. An ape called Ape who talks.
it. It's definitely a fun, enjoyable movie. I do have to vote for Snatch, though.
Shep? Here, boy. Giant elephant who thinks he's a dog.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
It's a very fun movie. No denying that. I am voting for Snatch.
Fruitful? This place ain't so fruitful. Nobody here have big coconuts.
Yeah.
Sad. Really sad.
You got it to go with Snatch, right?
No, I can't convince you. That's what I'm sad about.
Oh. I mean,
It's one of my
look,
favorite
it's-
movies. Brendan Fraser, man.
I get it. I totally get it.
I'm
It's just
whining.
I don't
I'm
have
do-
the...
Doing the thing where I whine at you, like, come on, man, why?
Fraser. Like, I get
I'll
it.
be a friend. Tukey the toucan.
Yes, absolutely.
Longogram. They fight with the narrator.
Yes, that's true. I just don't have the connection to it that you do, so it's like
Oh, for
not...
God's sake. What do you... Oh, man, I'm sad and I'm angry and I'm mad.
Is this our Simpsons of the Movies tournament?
No.
No,
I
I don't think
can't.
anything's going to get to that point.
I hate that we couldn't have an at-length discussion about this.
I mean, it's a good movie. Go watch it. It's a good movie. I'm not even trying to deny that.
All these are good movies. That's the point. They're all good. We all like them.
It's a unanimous decision.
Golden brown, texture like sun.
I'll let you just sit here and quote it for a while.
That's from fucking Snatch. It's where he knocks out the big fella and Golden Brown starts playing.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. Fine. Fine.
If you want to just take a minute to sing the praises of George of the Jungle, go for it.
No, I just think it's a really good family movie. Again, it's probably not the best movie ever made. We know it's not, but I don't know. Just saw it a lot as a kid. Because of my fucking autism, I just had it on loop all the time.
Jesus.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I have movies like that. Absolutely. It's just this
I
is
don't
one
know
of
what
them.
made me connect with it so much, but
It's a good movie.
the humor is good.
I think the thing is, how old were you when you were watching it?
Well, let's see. It came out in 97, so it would have been like 3 or 4,
And you were watching it at that time?
probably.
Then that explains a lot. I didn't see it until definitely a few years later in life. Like maybe when I was like 10, 11, maybe even 12.
It shaped a lot of a weird, irreverent humor, I think, for me.
Mm,
Because that's what this movie has, is a lot of irreverent humor. Like,
absolutely.
George will talk to the narrator, and the narrator speaks to the audience, and then George breaks the fourth wall all of the time. In fact, a lot of characters do sometimes. It's weird.
Yeah.
But
It's a well-made comedy.
it's just nice. It's just
Yeah.
a nice time. Happy ending. Really cool. It's
And as much as
cool.
Brendan Fraser's a meme, he's pretty good.
Well, he's a meme because he got fucked over by his ex-wife and basically blacklisted him from Hollywood, and he's now coming back, and like everyone loves it.
Yeah, he's going to be in the next Scorsese movie. I'm excited.
Yeah, so good.
Very excited.
Okay, let me get the next movies up.
So I guess that means we went with Snatch.
Yes, come
right.
on, man. Why is there so many fucking Star Wars movies?
We had 3.
Now we have one more. Star Wars.
There we go. Episode 4, also known
The
as
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars, also known as A New Hope.
I can't find it on the fucking Rotten Tomatoes. Here we go. 1977.
Yes.
Sci-fi adventure, 92% on the tomato. 96% on the audience score. We all know Star Wars, blah, the Death Star, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope, blah, blah, blah. We know it. We know it.
Yeah, are we feeling jaded towards Star Wars at this point?
No, it's because this is like the only unanimously good one.
True. Yeah.
Because it's the first one, and it was never going to be a trilogy. It's just it did so well because it had a budget of only 11 million, if you can believe it.
Really?
But then again, I guess because it was made in the 70s, like, you're gonna have to adjust it for inflation. But
Yeah, that's actually probably still pretty expensive for the time.
yeah, the box office was 775 million. So,
Holy fucking shit!
it launched 1,000 ships. It launched an entire franchise. Like, you can't understate the importance of fucking Star Wars.
Yeah.
Plus, just on its own, it's really good. It's going up against Memento.
Whoa.
2000. 93% on the tomato meter, 94% on the audience scores. Christopher Nolan directed this one.
It's
Based on a script by Jonathan Nolan.
Mm-hmm. It's a gimmick movie, but it's a really well executed one.
Guy Pearce stars as a movie that had a $9 million budget and a $40 million return, so that's good.
Yeah.
It's the one with the narrative, where the colour scenes are played in reverse order, and then the black and whites are in the forward order, and then they meet at the end, and they intersect, and they create the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a man trying to find out who killed his wife, and it may or may not be him. You don't know who to trust. It's got Carrie-Anne Moss in it, who's also in The Matrix as well.
Yep. And he writes notes for himself on Polaroid pictures.
Yeah, he has tattoos on his back and arms and shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Very good movie.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of stuff there.
I remember the first time I saw Memento, I was just like in awe of like how clever I thought it was.
You need a fucking diagram to really like lay out how it plays out.
Yeah, I remember one time the director. Who'd you say was the director?
Nolan,
yes. I saw this clip of him like in front of a chalkboard, and he just drew this not semicircle. What would you call that shape? Like a very long horseshoe shape, and like
very
that
long
was
horse.
that was his like diagram of the plot line, and it shows how like you're watching these two alternating timelines that meet in the middle and make the whole thing complete. And it's a very clever movie, and I'm voting for Star Wars.
No.
Really? This is the one where you don't want to go Star Wars?
I mean, Memento is just really fucking cool, and I think as a movie, it's so unique and interesting and really well made. Like, you can be so daring as to make a movie, right? You can do it with just the general, like, conventional narrative, start to end. To do something like Memento, and to expect people to just, like, sit there and let it happen.
I mean, you're absolutely
like, it's fucking
right.
crazy. Like, if you take all of the black and white scenes, do them from like 1 to 20, however many there are. I mean, you take all the letters of the alphabet for the coloured ones, it's like 1, V, 2, U, 3, T, ends with 22, A, credits. Like, it's fucking mind-blowing how you can make it, how you can have it make sense, how it's like stood the test of time. Like, it came out in 2000, but I don't think it's dated. I think aside from the use of fucking like Polaroids and like all that technology and stuff,
true.
but
that's part of the plot.
I think it's really fucking clever still. I think it holds up very, very well.
It's absolutely clever. There's no denying that.
Do I think Star Wars the original holds up?
I think. I mean,
Do you
obviously,
remember how awkward the lightsaber fight was between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, where they're literally just like swinging their dicks at each other with the lightsabers?
Yeah, Vader and...
Like, they didn't quite know what they were doing with it.
I think the scene that always struck me as the most awkward is like the end of that fight, when Obi-Wan just is like, if you strike me down, I'll be more powerful, and you can have a bee and smelly. And then he gets whacked very gently with Vader's saber, and then he just turns into a pile of clothes. And it's like they didn't really have a grasp on how they wanted lightsaber death to work.
Compared to fucking Phantom Menace, where Liam Neeson just gets fucking stabbed and his guts fall out.
I don't know why being touched by the lightsaber just made him vanish.
I need to rewatch this just so I can have it fresh in my fucking mind, because I think it looked fucking terrible. Especially when, like, not even owing to the time it was made, because obviously fucking George Lucas is a nutcase, and he's like, he made 4, 5, and 6 before he made 1, 2, and 3, and then he didn't even make 7, 8, and 9. Fucking the mouse did.
To be fair, at the time that 4, 5, and 6 came out, they weren't called 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, right, but why? Why are you doing a prequel to this where it's 3 episodes? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you could have done that in one movie.
The
But
amount
I think
of times they've had to, like, reimagine it and everything, because they're literally, like, you know how Star Wars fucking fights work? Where they're just, like, launching themselves all about the place, like, doing flips and everything, like, moving around crazily. This one, they're literally standing in a fucking hallway in the same 2 spots, just pointing these sticks at each other, just like,
And I think...
Obi-Wan does a spin. Oh, he turns around at one point for no fucking reason.
Right. I think...
I'm sure it was mind-blowing to the audience of 1975.
Yeah, just to have laser swords at all.
But in real world time now, it's aged really badly, and I don't think Memento has.
That's fair. Also, just a quick side note. I know we're talking about episode 4, but I think my favorite style of lightsaber...
Why does he disappear? Literally, he gets fucking bisected.
It's stupid.
The cloak falls down and he's gone.
His physical body vanishes, but his clothes are unscathed, and they just fall to the ground. It's stupid.
Didn't they also do that with Luke in episode 8?
Did they? Is that how that worked? No.
Like, remember at the end?
No.
Because he was floating in the place, and then he disappeared, and his clothes were there still.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember if the
clothes... It's like the Terminator, where they all... they go into the Force naked.
But that was for different. He didn't get, like, whacked by a lightsaber and then just disappear. But
he chose to die or some shit. I don't fucking know.
He used so much force that he vanished.
No. What the fuck? This is so stupid.
But what I was going to say just real quick is that I think my favorite style of lightsaber choreography is actually from episode 7, because I feel like it hits this middle ground where, like, the original trilogy, it's a very slow paced kind of, it's awkward because they have
it's like fencing.
Yeah. And then in the prequels, it's so fucking off the walls, acrobatic and buck wild, like obnoxiously so. And I feel like in episode 7 they hit a middle ground. Like Kylo Ren is like got this heavy-handed style, and like I think it's really cool. But anyway, yeah, I get what you're saying about episode 4 not aging super well. I just feel like rewatchability for Memento maybe not is all the way there.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I feel like once you watch it the first time, like that's the experience is the first time, and maybe the second time it's just like, I don't know. Maybe you get some like trying to piece together the mystery a little bit more the second time, but like I don't feel like that's a movie you watch over and over again.
Yeah, I guess.
Also, if I'm remembering correctly, the ending's very ambiguous, right? Like it doesn't give you a clear-cut answer.
No, it kind of basically like I don't know. It's really difficult to explain without spoiling it.
I think it's one of those open to interpretation endings, isn't it?
No, I don't think it is.
Is it not? Maybe I just got the wrong interpretation of it when I saw it, but
I don't know. Maybe we need to watch it again.
But I remember it being that way, which there's nothing inherently wrong with those kinds of endings, but they're not my favorite.
I guess it's Star Wars then.
I mean, listen, I'm open for debate. I like Memento.
Nah, it's Star Wars.
Okay.
Like, come on. Who are you kidding?
Sure.
Star Wars. Alright, we have 2 matchups left.
Alright, let's go. What do we got?
Die Hard.
Okay.
1988. 94% tomato meter, 94% audience score. Is this the first time where it has the exact same rating?
I think so, yeah.
That's crazy. Directed by John McTiernan.
It was the first time Bruce Willis was ever in a serious movie. Before that, he was a comedy actor.
25 to 35 million budget, it's estimated. Made back 139, 141 million estimated. Die Hard.
Alan Rickman's a good villain.
John McClane has a bad day.
Yeah, that's basically the movie.
At Christmas, he's in Nakatomi Plaza, 40 stories of sheer adventure as described by the poster. Terrorism, he has to fight the terrorists, and on the other hand, you have Shrek. 2001 animated comedy, DreamWorks, 88% on the tomato meter, 90% audience score. Somebody was blooded blood.
Oh my god. Oh. Ooh. That's Scrubs versus Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Die Hard versus Shrek.
Holy fucking shit.
Both are franchises. Both have not so great entries. For me, Shrek.
I think I have to agree. I think
Die Hard is really good, but like...
Now, I'll also say this. Shrek 1 is not the best Shrek movie.
No, I think Shrek 2 is.
Yeah, absolutely. Shrek
But no,
1...
actually, thinking about it, I go back and forth between them because they're both quite different movies. Shrek 2 leans a lot more into the pop culture thing. It's very self-referential.
It's like the
Shrek
Terminator
1, it
franchise.
does that, but... No.
They're
Shrek 1 is not
different
the horror...
genres.
Shrek 1 is not the horror movie to Shrek 2's action movie, alright? Okay, Die Hard, you have to sing its praises because it changed, like, the way action movies are. It was always, like, Stallone or Schwarzenegger, who were very muscle-bound, like, invincible fucking Terminators.
That was something I was going to say, and it's something that carries over into modern action movies that everybody still loves, like John Wick, where, like, the hero's not untouchable.
He's just a dude.
Gets beat up.
He's got, like, a failing marriage as well, doesn't he?
I think so, yeah.
He cries at points. Like...
Also, real quick, it's not a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Just want to
Just because a movie takes place at Christmas, it doesn't mean that it's a Christmas movie. It means
Christmas
it's not a
affects the
movie
plot.
about Christmas.
Christmas affects the plot. Not at all.
Nah. It's just...
So, it's not a Christmas
you can
movie.
watch it on Christmas if you want, because there's no rules against when you can watch movies.
Sure.
But
You can watch Shrek on Christmas. Doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
there was a Shrek Christmas movie.
There was. We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about Shrek the Halls.
We don't talk about Shrek 3 or Shrek 4.
Hey, Shrek 3 was okay.
Was Shrek 3 alright? That's
I
the
think
one where
it
he
had
turns
one
into a
joke where
human,
I
right?
laughed. Yeah, no, he turns into a human in the second one.
Oh, okay.
Shrek 3 is the one with Justin Timberlake as Prince, whatever the fuck.
Okay.
And Shrek 4 is the one where it's like an alternate universe.
Shrek 1, Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy. That's about it. But
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow, yes. Lord Farquaad as the antagonist. And just fucking...
Some of you may die, but it is a sacrifice I am willing to make.
All the other...
politics.
all the other... grim fairy tale characters like Pinocchio and the Gingerbread Man and the
Three bears and fairies.
the three blind mice and yeah,
Shrek.
and Shrek, that classic. It's based off a book.
Yeah, William Steig, who made Shrek. It's not just Shrek, it's Shrek.
That's true. The donkey who romances a dragon. It's fucking weird.
Oh, the mean green fighting machine.
I love you.
Might have seen a housefly, maybe even a superfly. You never seen a donkey fly.
I love your Eddie Murphy impression.
Well, mine.
Yes. I've never heard it before today, and I love it.
We got to try a little tenderness.
And in the morning, I'm making waffles.
I'm making waffles.
Yeah, I think I actually have to go with
It's
Shrek,
Shrek.
over Die Hard. That's
The
fucking
memes
hilarious.
are strong with Shrek, but it's undeniably, like, a fucking cornerstone of millennial cinema.
Yeah, actually.
Like, Die Hard is just another action movie. Shrek is a very unique movie.
And it's got the nice message about inner beauty and all that shit. Somebody once told me.
Looking kind of dumb
Finger and thumb.
on a forehead. The years start coming and they don't stop 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 coming. They don't stop coming.
They don't.
That's the problem.
Did someone stop them?
Someone stop Smash Mouth.
Oh god, I love that. I can't believe that.
Hey
matchup
now,
happened.
Terminator 2
Oh, saving one of the best for last.
versus Forrest Gump. It's T2.
Oh man, and I really like Forrest Gump, but you're totally right.
Terminator 2 is my favorite movie of all time. I will say it until the day I die without a shred of irony. We don't have enough time. We've run out of time.
I'll just say this really quickly, right? Like, when I first saw both Terminator and T2, it was the same night, and it was me and my dad. He sat me down and he's like, you have not seen Terminator movies, we're gonna watch them. And we watched the first one, and I was like, wow, that was really good. I didn't realize it was like so scary, blah blah blah. I thought of Terminator as like an action franchise, right? Knowing nothing about it really, other than Schwarzenegger as Robot Man kill people. And then immediately we put on T2, which I knew nothing about. I did not know the plot of T2. And the first time Schwarzenegger pulls out that fucking shotgun and is revealed to be a protagonistic character,
Get down.
I lost my fucking mind.
I wish I could experience it in that fucking lens. I really wish I could have. Like, that is the perfect fucking viewing experience. I'm so angry that you were able to do that. Fuck you. How fucking dare you.
I lost my mind. I was like, you mean to tell me he's on our side now? Oh, shit!
We don't have time, man. We talk about more the next time. But, you know,
I just want to say real
Gump,
quick,
it was okay. It was good. Gen A.
Forrest Gump is a really, really great movie. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. Everyone owes themselves watching that movie. It's really, really good. It's a historic movie. One of the cornerstones of film. Tom Hanks in maybe one of his best roles ever. Amazing movie. It's just unfair for the matchup. It's like what happened with El Dorado. We started and ended with an unfair matchup, and a great movie has to be eliminated because of it. This one goes to Terminator 2.
Terminator 2. Dun 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 dun.
That classic song.
We'll be back.
So yeah, there you go. That's our first round done, I think, right?
Yeah.
So it took 2.5 hours, but we did it. And next time we will probably finish the tournament because we'll be able to go through them quicker because we don't have to like go through all the scores.
Well, that's what happened last time as well. We did the 32 of the movies and then we finished it. So yeah, we'll have to do this again next time. Same danger place, same danger time.
Yup. So, real quick, if you want to send us an email and tell us why you think Shrek shouldn't have beaten Die Hard, you can do that by contacting us at bitterchatterpodcast@gmail.com. And we also, before we get into the socials, I want to talk about something we missed out on in the preamble episode, and I think last episode as well, where we have merch.
Yes, we have a merch with merchandise. We have a logo that you can purchase and you can put on a various amount of things. You can find it at redbubble.com/people/bitterchatpod. It is the same as our socials.
Yes. And those socials are on Twitter and Instagram. If you missed what he said, if you were somehow zoning out, it's at bitterchatpod. So go there, follow us, and enjoy things with your senses on the internet. We also have personal socials. Brooks, what are yours?
My name is Strayborn. You can find me on Twitter giving disjointed thoughts and memes that I find funny. And I'm on TikTok. You can find me posting whatever the hell I want, maybe following a trend or two. Who knows? I don't know.
He's going to post his tweets.
I'm gonna put on TikTok.
That's an inside joke. So I have socials as well. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. One of them is more active than the others. It's all the same handle at @thatguy_Carmine. On TikTok, I'm back to posting my shit. And on Twitter and Instagram, I'm still figuring it out. But join me for the ride, won't you? We have a good time here. And that about does it, I think. So I think I hear a knocking on my door. And I think it's Bruce Willis, who's pretty pissed off. Hey, Bruce. No, listen. I get it. It's a great movie. You did a really good job. But hey, put the gun down, Bruce. We don't need.
No, I will not put the gun down.
We don't need to get so intense here.
My name is Bruce Willis, and I'm mad that you didn't put forward Die Hard.
You sound exactly like yourself, Bruce. And I just want to say, like,
I have a problem.
What's your problem, Bruce?
I've been watching a documentary on YouTube.
What's that about?
It's a very weird man.
I think I know who you're talking about. And we can listen. I understand you're probably going through a lot of mental trauma because of this series, but
I'm dying, Carmine.
Well, hey, we can talk this out. Just put the gun down.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
No, Bruce. Hey, Bruce.
it sound right, boy.